Wemby and Sochan are both playing in the Rising Stars game. Wemby will be playing for Pau Gasol's team, and Jeremy gets to play for Jalen Rose. The party starts tonight. You can catch it live right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Texas got a busy Saturday. They're heading to Houston to take on third-ranked Cougars.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, eyes on up. Gather around. It's the Morning Huddle. That's RJ Ochoa. Natalie attired in his all-star jacket. I'm Rob Thompson. I know where my car is. Welcome on to the Morning Huddle. We're glad to see everybody aboard on a Friday that we have all earned. Some of us headed into a 3-day weekend. I'm not, but some of us are. Some of us are in the middle of a 48-hour beat-down march. Easy E, double E, Edwin Hafner, filling in for James Pledger. He was here. You put in, what was your hours yesterday? 16 hours, 17 hours, Edwin?
About 4:30 to 8:30. So yeah.
Not bad. That's a good day's work.
What do you mean
That's
not bad? It's
God loves a
impressive.
working man.
Edwin rules always. So I hope there's a good dinner in store for Edwin later on this evening.
Good morning, RJ. How was your evening?
My evening was chaotic. So our puppy got spayed yesterday, and so she's a little in need of some attention.
She a little fussy?
And just a little down, a little slow.
Morning, Vince.
She got the donut around her, which makes moving her a little bit difficult. It's raining, so it's always complicates things when it's raining. And I'm in the mood for a bowl of chili, and I don't have one, so that was kind of stuck in my craw a little bit.
I have found that my life is better in the rain because the dogs are like, yeah, I'll just hold it. I have one that's like, no, I'm good. I'll just hold on.
Wow. Yeah, I'm good. I
know. I have a Chihuahua that can go. It's like a camel in the desert. Doesn't have to drink. I have a Chihuahua that can hold it for like 3 days. Like, nah, I'm good. I don't move much anyway. I'm just gonna lay real still and growl at anything.
What did you eat for dinner?
Last night I made tostadas and flautas. I have a good flauta recipe for with old chicken and deep fried some flautas. No, last night was pretty good. I my son's home from college, and he's been eating trash for a long time, so I've kind of taken pleasure in cooking a couple times a week for more than just two. So I rolled some flautas and made some tostadas last night. So that was pretty good. As we spent, it's weird now looking for things to watch. You have to kind of conserve. You have some shows you're like, oh, let's hold that one. Well, let's wait. Well, let's hold that off when we have a little bit more time. We can really get into it. So the search. I hate the search. I do the search every night. Did we dig all the way through Hulu yesterday? Let's try Max. So we found I think My Grandfather Was a Serial Killer show.
Is that's what it's called?
Well,
or
it's something like that. It's on Max, and there's this girl that see. Here's a problem in the modern world. First of all, everybody doesn't need a podcast. Just because
those are
not everybody needs a podcast. Some people need like a Creed podcast where it just kind of goes out into space. You just send it out there, but not everybody needs one. But what the next step is, just because it's a good podcast doesn't mean it's going to be good TV. And I'm seeing lately, because of the writer's strike, a lot of these podcasts were done by non-professional, entertainers. So it made for easy move to video because there was nothing else for programming. So they were throwing money out there. So now they got all these terrible true crime docuseries and this is just another one of them. Like you think your step granddad was a serial killer. That was the premise, and I've watched way too much of it already. And I think he is actually, by the way, I think he is.
So three things
really
quickly here. One, Have you seen? I think you said yes, but you've seen the McMillions documentary.
Oh, of course.
Right? Okay, I was gonna say if not, that's right up your alley. 2, I think you should use this opportunity where you're looking for something to watch. If you have something you haven't seen, like a really popular thing.
Here's the problem. Like yours, like everybody I am the only person in my circle, literally the only one who has not watched Succession. I'm literally the only. All of my friends.
So why aren't you watching this?
Because it's a big bite of apple. That's a big commitment. Okay. So now I'm committed to like 5 years to just catch up to the conversation.
Rob, it's only 3 seasons.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
No. It's and it's right up your alley. Like,
I agree. And in fact, I've watched the first 2 or 3, and for whatever reason, I run out of steam every time.
I promise you, this was made for Rob.
Because I'm serious people. I am a serious person, and I appreciate a serious one-off series.
My final mini take here is you mentioned not everybody needs a podcast. I have a very specific genre of podcasts that I am annoyed by, that I want to not exist anymore.
Okay? And that is?
Look, I'm all for people hustling. I'm all for people making content.
No, there's a world for this. Yeah, I'm not against them.
I don't need the podcast about your sitcom that was 20 years ago where you're going through and recapping.
You're dogging the Office
episode.
Ladies? Are you dogging the Office Ladies?
I
love dogging the Office Ladies.
I actually look, the obsession with the Office is actually become annoying. Like I somewhat hate the Office now because of the way people regard it. Like people and what annoys me specifically is people act like they're the only person to have that opinion. Like I could go out right now and I could tweet, I don't care what anybody says, The Office is the greatest show of all time. And I'm just gaslighting people because like nobody disagrees with that. Like we all love it. We all universally praise it. We all universally believe it's great. But it's not just The Office ladies. There's like a million people who did like Disney and Nickelodeon shows.
Smartless. Think about what Smartless is.
Podcast.
Smartless is from Arrested Development, and Smartless is phenomenal.
Again, I don't need you to tell me about like the super secret behind the scenes Tuesday that you were filming this show and so ordered tacos, but they accidentally got flautas delivered to them, and everybody thought it was the funniest thing in the world, and you incorporated that into this like subliminal way that the joke landed, and it was in the cold open. Like, don't need all
that's the other part of this. I'm always astounded by the amount of thought that goes into the most minute detail of a scene. They're like, if you notice behind Kevin, the calendar, they X'd out the 3rd day in October because you're like, dude, I can't even see it. What? I'm not paying attention to that. And I never, ever will. Even if it's subliminal, how would I know it's subliminal? I don't know what October the 3rd was. So I find it interesting when they start talking about that kind of crap, because it's like, oh my God, you guys must have a lot of time sitting around on set.
It's funny you bring up October 3rd specifically. You obviously don't remember Katie Haring, and you obviously don't know that on October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. It was October 3rd.
That was a rambling sentence that I don't even know how to make sense of. What are you talking about?
I'm going to guess yes. Have you seen the movie Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan?
Of course.
Okay, there's a scene. She has a crush on like kind of the dreamy guy in the movie, and she's describing like, you know, it's like in this montage, and she says on October 3rd, he asked me what day it was, and then it shows him like he sits in front of her in class. He turns around and he goes, he's
That's
writing
a
the date.
Deep cut quote right there.
He goes, "Hey, what day is it?" She goes, "It's October 3rd."
October the 3rd.
Well, I mean, I think like nowadays there are things like that in pop culture. There's October 3rd. There's November 5th. Remember the 5th of November. November 5th is also the day that the Doc invented time travel in 1955, that Marty McFly goes back in time towards.
Brian Oleg on our YouTube feed. Game of Thrones is your next show. You want to talk about a bite of apple? Just go ahead and reserve a month.
Oh, dude.
You committed 3 hours a day. Yeah, you're consuming a fair amount of content. The good news is you'll enjoy it. It's a ride you're going to love, but it's a commitment the likes of which not many are ready to make.
Succession, Rob.
I agree. Like, it's going to take another one of the great freezes for me to do that.
The final season of Succession is among the greatest seasons of television I've ever seen. I mean, it was
up there with the last Breaking Bad, which for me was the greatest TV series of all time.
Yeah, I mean, the final season was riveting of Succession.
Wow, see, that's high praise coming from a critic the likes of RJ Ochoa. because you're in an all or nothing world. There's no gray in RJ Ochoa's world.
That's what I'm saying, man. And so you're over here like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to watch. I've, gone down to my suggested more.
I'm telling you, the best thing I've
Hulu.
watched in the last couple of weeks is on Apple Plus. It is the
Masters of the Air thing.
Oh my gosh, that I enjoyed that. But I'm old, and I'm starting to age into the World War II appreciation bracket of life.
I believe that now Apple, speaking of, I was going to bring this up to you. So great, natural, unintentional segue by you.
Oh no, I'm not going to watch it, and I'm going to hate the fact that I'm going to see the tile on my screen. No.
Of what?
I thought you were going to bring up the Patriots documentary.
Yeah, that was going to say that. There's. Why don't you want to watch that?
Who wants 27 hours of ongoing Tom Brady love? My God, enough about how great I am. You tell me how great I am. It's like a 10-part series. How much do I need to know?
We are going a little bit overboard with sports documentaries these days, but I can't get enough. I mean, at this point, give me all the sports. Just stop being so grouchy. You know what I mean? Like, it's the tile's gonna annoy you. Come back
just to see the backlit glorified Tom Brady. You know what? The sad thing is he's already been lapped. Tom, I hope you enjoyed your time as the GOAT, because you ain't no mo. I hope you enjoyed it. Why don't you just go get back on your yacht off the oh wait, she divorced you. Oh,
Pumbaa says in the Brigade Bar, just rewatched Game of Thrones recently, and the disappointment of the last season is still there.
I know, that's palpable. I mean, see, that's another thing. I always tell people to get started, and then when they get to the last season, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
You spent 8 years teaching us about the Night King, and then didn't even.
And then here's a little spear to him. It's over.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, but you know what? We can show. You want to go see a brothel?
Arya could really fight, so he died.
Yeah, that's just. And that other dragon dead.
Yeah, I mean, the one that was in the ice and that was dead and everything, and that you were really afraid of. Yeah, it didn't really matter.
That was easy. that part was easy.
Yeah, but what's really difficult is the politics of figuring out who's the new king. And we're just gonna go with Bran, because that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. The third eye. The show will be encompassed with a fair amount of cowboy conversation. Dave Campo joined the Blitz yesterday and had some interesting things to say about Dan Quinn. We'll think if this is the pot calling the kettle black or not, but we do like the insight. Campo was on. You're going to hear from that. Caitlin Clark is indeed a goddess of basketball. It was a glorious evening. We're going to compare what she did to the past record-breaking moments, and it's right up there with the very best, including RJ Ochoa, one of the greatest of all time. Coming back, Dave Campo speaks on Dan Quinn, how the Cowboys got where they got. It's going to be a fun day. Hang with us. Make sure you're watching this live. You'll get to see an all-star jacket. You get to tell us who's wearing it. Coming up, you're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Somebody's knocking the door. I walk over, and there's Toby Keith. I'm like, hey, Toby Keith. He's like, hey, is Rick James in here? I'm like, yeah. He does like to smoke the weed.
Yes, he does.
Yes. We are having some celebrities, Rick James and Dan Haggerty and
Grizzly Adams?
Grizzly Adams.
Wow. Hello, Grizzly Adams.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Rob Thompson here for SA Card House. It's where I go to get my poker on. They're over at 281 in Bitters, 13400 San Pedro Avenue if you are going to be using the map services. Easy to get to, open 7 days a week, everything that I've been looking for. Look, I've played poker for years, and card houses have been a great experience, but let me tell you, you want to talk about next level, it's SA Card House, because they've got everything that I want. I'm not just a casual player I like to play, but I like to play with folks I like. I like to be in an environment that I feel feel comfortable, enjoy the people around, the service and all that goes around that. I get all of that. And then you add in Foster's Grill, which takes SA Card House over the top. They have the opportunity, you have the opportunity to go play great cards in a great environment, a great place, and then add in a great meal made by worthy chefs. It is not pub grub. This is posh nosh. That's SA Card House. Games to be played, fun to be had. Go there today and thank me later.
Joe Reinagle here. I want to tell you about something that has completely changed my life. I had vision correction surgery at Parkhurst New Vision. The results are amazing. The readers are a thing of the past. Hey, if you're like me and tired of those glasses, call Parkhurst New Vision at 210-585-2020. They offer a variety of services like vision correction surgery. So call Parkhurst New Vision, 210-585-2020, or get them online at sanantoniolasik.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
NBA All-Star Weekend on ESPN Radio. From the Rising Stars tonight to All-Star Saturday night, including the Skills Challenge, the three-point and slam dunk contest. Then on Sunday, the 73rd NBA All-Star Game, the NBA's All-Star Weekend. This weekend on ESPN Radio. Presented by Indeed.
Tonight at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and ESPN 1250.
Hey, huddle up. It's the morning huddle as we charge face first into the weekend. Last night, yesterday afternoon, depending on your perspective, and this morning crew, by the way, morning crew, I got something to give away for you today. What are we doing early this morning, Edwin? What do we want to give?
Actually, no giveaways.
I got nothing.
Nothing.
For the peeps?
Nothing for the peeps.
Well, I have no retort to that. I don't even have Steel Panther. We can't even come by a single Machine Head.
Nope, unless they add something later in the show.
Check the promo suite. What's the Blitz got?
Nothing. No one has anything.
Nothing.
Zero.
That's I guess that's the season we're in.
It's just gotten worse.
I can't even. I keep digging, RJ, and I keep thinking
Rob,
I can climb out of this, but I can't.
This is the episode of Friends where Rachel's out of candy and the little kids are still trick or treating, and she's just giving them cash out of her.
Basically, where I am now.
That's what I'm saying. Rob will give everyone a check.
My
for
morning crew,
$1
third caller gets all the change right here. In fact, we could give away. What do we got around the house?
We've got
we could wrap up a nice coffee mug. I might have
we have an extra one of those candles. You know what I mean? Like let's let's just do that. I mean,
I have a spare old ESPN The Zone coffee mug back here. We could use.
Who I left before y'all did a week ago. Who brought the candles home? By the way,
I left them it was a donation to the VRBO. There were great intentions, but okay. For those of you who don't know, Tyler, we use towns to represent radio stations. Tyler, ESPN East Texas, goes, and one of their sponsors there makes these candles that you see in like Waco and the Magnolia spot and all these. You'll see them, and they make this brand of stuff called Poo-Pourri. If you've heard of it, you know what I'm talking about. Well, these guys are sponsored by them, so they show up to the Super Bowl, and it's kind of cool at the tables where we're doing all these interviews. The smart stations bring gifts, like, hey, thanks for stopping by. Here's a lovely candle, or here's a lovely little spray so that when you poop and you leave where you were, it doesn't smell as bad as it used to. Thanks for stopping by. So they bring this kind of stuff, and it's really kind of high end, but little sampley stuff. Well, at the end of the Super Bowl, I mean, not a lot of football players are walking away with a pocket full of poopery, So they always give it away to everybody, and everybody has the best intentions because this stuff costs money if you're going to take it. But it's just a gift to the VRBO. Good stuff.
Wow. Okay.
So no, nobody made it back. At least I didn't bring much back.
Wow, that threw some attention on you.
It did.
Promising people gifts.
Speak to the jacket you're wearing as we begin to set up the Dave Campo segment. You're wearing a West All-Star jacket that is made, I noticed, by Reebok, which gives you a certain time and glory.
Yeah, I've been to one NBA All-Star weekend. My dad and I went to the Saturday night festivities in 2006 center. And I would like to say that when I bought this as a youth, that my dad said, "You'll never wear that." What's up?
Where you at, Pops?
Yeah, what's up, man? So this was the shooting jacket that they wore. It was very cool, and it is cool. And it's obviously All-Star weekend. And so, representing the Western Conference.
Who was your favorite player in 2006? Not in the West, not the East, because I know you were kind of a Detroit fan.
Well, I mean, look, Detroit's always kind of just been an interesting team. And,
I know.
So like my favorite non-Spur at the time, and some of it was just that the All-Star game was in Houston, was Tracy McGrady. So, I mean, I loved T-Mac in Orlando, and it was difficult when he wound up in Houston, but I had T-Mac shoes forever. And so, that he was in Houston, again, bit of a bummer, but I powered through, and then he wound up in San Antonio for a cup of coffee, and that was really
shiny
cool.
moment.
And,
it's good looking, man. That's cool. And the gear this weekend, I haven't seen a lot of. I'm not particularly impressed with the jerseys so far, but I expect that we'll see more swag. I want to get to the topic at hand. That's Dave Campo. He's a good friend of the SA Sports Star, but been around often, been around a lot. He was on yesterday with the Blitz, and what a great guy to have on to give you some more background into what was going on inside the Cowboy world, as Campo is kind of your coach's coach. He's been around a lot. His perspective on Dan Quinn. You saw it and grabbed it too and tweeted it out on the way he treats his players.
It's spicy.
It is. It's an interesting take, and I do consider the source. For those of us who were around when he was coaching, I've seen way too much of Dave Campo. Way too much skin. Way too much. Way too much.
Okay.
This is him talking about Dan Quinn and his relationship to his players.
Well, first of all, from a culture standpoint, I'll just say one thing this way. I know Dan Quinn very well. I was not in the office in the building. I'm here in Jacksonville, so I saw a bunch of the games. I saw that game. I'm going a little bit on some hearsay, but I think the one thing about Dan is he's a fine gentleman, and he's smart, and his scheme was okay, but he was a little bit too buddy, I think, with the players, and that's part of it. You can't have a lot of accountability if you don't stand a little bit above of the people that you're trying to get to be accountable. But more so than that, when they lost number 55, they lost only the real linebacker that they had on that ball club. And their two inside tackles were not, they were pass rushers. And so they were small defense, and the teams that could run the ball on them were successful. And that's what happened in that ball game.
Dave Campo in Jacksonville yesterday. I don't know. I'm here in Peoria.
Duval County.
I'm in Duval County. I don't know how I got here. I'm kind of lost. But anyway, that was him on the Blitz yesterday. And, first of all, he's right. Everything he said is right. I think we all heard what he had to say and go, I think that we all feel the same way, that it was a team that was treated as a bunch of cohorts instead of coach and player.
So oftentimes when there's a coaching change, generally at head coach, you see teams go from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bill Parcells, we want Wade Phillips, right? Like you go from
the adjustment is always severe.
Yeah. And I think it's, and to Campo's credit, he said he's kind of gone, his word was hearsay, which I misspelled in my tweet. And I mean, it stands to reason just based on the hiring of Mike Zimmer that he is something that Dan Quinn is not, which is not a jerk. Very, very, very infamously said.
That's a deep inference, but I think you're right. I think
right.
Part of it is.
I mean, I think that the results bear out what Coach Campo was talking about here. Now, Brian mentions this in the Brigade Bar, says that's why they got rid of Kellen. I kind of agree with that too. I mean, like, although I think it was different. I think that Kellen maybe didn't have the skins on the wall to kind of justify, being a hard ass or whatever. That Quinn, Quinn did, have the career credentials to just choose to operate that way. A little bit more friendly, a little bit too buddy to you. And I think that it's not unfair to say that Campo has a bit of a point. And I don't think that it's a bad thing that's how Dan Quinn was, because it worked. I think the more legitimate thing, and he said, I know, it was a really long quote, but he talked about how they were small defensively. That was Dan Quinn's fatal flaw. I mean, dude, you just cannot you can't have, 4 pass rushers and DBs. That's it. Like you just can't operate that way. You have to have some beef there. And Dan Quinn's design ultimately failed him.
He was so successful in Seattle because he had the ultimate in the hybrids required to run that defense. And if you don't have the ultimate, it's just,
despite being that size. But not everyone is Earl Thomas or Cam Chancellor. And that's the problem. And, and it also worked because the team that they dismantled in the Super Bowl 48, the 2013 Denver Broncos, that were at the time the greatest offense that had ever lived from a statistical standpoint, that they were this high flying, type of offense. I mean, they weren't ground and pound the way that the Packers were willing to be able to in the playoffs. And so the Broncos just kind of fell right into the trap, so to speak, which is an indictment on their coaching staff, which is why they moved on from John Fox and brought in Gary Kubiak. And so do you think that Dan Quinn was too friendly? I mean, or do you think this is just kicking,
No, I think it's absolutely
way out now that he's gone?
I think it was a byproduct of the situation. I think Dan Quinn was required to be the coach that he was. He had to be the good cop. He was in there. He was brought in. He got everything he was given, and he played to his stars. I mean, I don't blame him for where we got. I mean, he had Micah and Bland and Diggs. We had a bunch of stars on a star-studded big-time football team, and lots of egos inside that gym. So the way he balanced them was to make everybody kind of buddy-buddy. And ended up paying the price for not only the inability to manpower the scheme that he's been so good at, but his stars either got hurt or didn't measure up because they either weren't pushed or weren't accountable. So that's kind of how it ended in every other place he's been. So I don't know why at the end of the day, when I look back on the arc of his time with the Cowboys, I should have expected anything less.
Quickly, I like this comment from Ultra Cowboy in the Brigade Bar. It says Dan Quinn got rid of Ridgeway. I don't think you can put that squarely on Dan Quinn, but the Cowboys drafted John Ridgeway in the 2022 NFL draft.
Ultra Cowboy going deep on this.
There was one term that was thrown out. Do you know what it was, Rob, when the Cowboys drafted John Ridgeway out of Arkansas, the Razorback?
I'm having trouble even remembering Ridgeway. So
he was your big interior defensive lineman, and that's not what they had. And Coach Campo laid that out. The term thrown out was glass eater. That they that's the way they spoke about him, and they talked so much about after that first loss to San Francisco how they wanted to get more badass because they got pushed around. They were too soft, and Ridgeway was kind of cut from that cloth, and they ultimately had some roster decisions and had to move on. And then he wound up in Washington, and he's been a fine player for them and lived up to that mark. But yeah, I mean, again, I don't want to swing to the spectrum in terms of the discussion and say that they're just soft players. I don't think that at all, but I do think that they lack the beef. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're a plate of sushi rolls. You know what I'm saying? Like you need the A1 thick and hearty type stuff.
I think they're encompassed by Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson will bring the wood. The dude will hit you like a truck. The problem is he's 6 feet 180. You know, he will hit you so hard it hurts himself. That kind of is encompassing this defense. They'll hit you, but it's not enough beef behind it. And that at the end of the day, it's going to be the failing for this scheme until it's not. Until you have the right guys at the right time that can stop the run or at least face a team that doesn't focus so much on your weakness in a situation that truly matters in a playoff game. He lightning in a bottle one time, and since then, he paid the price in the second half of a Super Bowl. We saw it.
Do you think, Dan, we're going from good cop to bad cop a little bit here?
Yeah, absolutely. This is, and we're going to talk about accountability. Campo talks about it, and the guy was around the Parcells era, so he knows of what accountability looks like. And obviously, it was not there. We'll hear from him. We'll talk about the superstar that is Caitlin Clark. Can we compare her to, I don't know. I'm trying to find a proper comparison that comes to my mind in college sports. I don't think there's anybody.
Maybe we should just talk about it. How about we do that?
We'll do that in about 15 minutes. What do you say? Hey, coming back, we're going to have some fun. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are live at the Roo Pub. Always fun, but especially on a Friday. We got a lot to talk about. Spurs in action tonight.
Well, sort of. Wemby and Sochan in the Rising Stars Challenge. Plus, we'll talk more. Mike Zimmer is the defensive coordinator. John Lashota from The Athletic joins us at 5:15. The Blitz, live out at the Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We start at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. I gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency. All over Febreze car clips right on your face. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
COVID-19? I don't want to risk missing work. I booked an appointment for this season's updated COVID-19 shot designed to help protect against recent variants. Learn about a vaccine option and book your COVID-19 shot on schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join our growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Hey, any big plans for today?
Yep, checking out Target's 4-day sale.
Oh, for what?
For scoring 20% off.
For 20% off?
For everything you need for spring. 20% off tees, jeans, and shoes. Even select bedding, bath, storage, and more.
Wait, for real? For how long?
4 days. That's the name of the sale. Target's 4-day sale.
Ah, the 4-day sale. Count me in for sure.
Don't miss Target's 4-day sale. Ends Monday. Restrictions apply. See Target.com for details.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-temperature performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through March 4th, get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge or Edge High Mileage Full Synthetic and an oil filter for $36.99. Only at AutoZone.
Claim based on Sequence 3 H test versus API SP test limits.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Roo Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Okay, I'm ready to record my jewelry store's new radio spot. We got a great script that really goes after Diamonds Direct and how they're nothing special and how we can match their price. Great stuff.
Great. And we have this new technology that bleeps out any false claims, so it saves us time with editing. So you can start anytime.
Okay, here goes. When you visit our jewelry store, we'll absolutely guarantee direct. Our diamonds come straight from the mine. We have cutters and hey, what the?
The hard truth is that other jewelry stores simply can't do what Diamonds Direct can. Diamonds Direct has special relationships with De Beers, international connections, and virtually unlimited buying power. The result is true direct importer pricing, exceptional quality, and up to 30 times the diamond selection you find at other stores.
I can't believe this thing won't let me say
Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Get more truth at diamondsdirect.com.
This is Andy Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, it's the Morning Huddle. Gather round. We got something to talk about. That's the managing editor of Blogging the Boys you're looking at, Natalie attired in the 2006 West All-Star shooting jacket. Wemby will have one of his own on. I think they'll probably make him wear that brown one tonight. Don't they wear their individual jerseys for these things?
Yeah, it's not. So you said that Wemby would have one on. You lied. It's not that. It's Spurs.
But I'm saying, will they make him wear the brown warm-up? Are they going to have to wear their city editions? So we get one more use out of these things before we.
My point is simply that it will be Spurs related. It won't be like All-Star related.
No, it'll be Spurs related. Yeah, and I'm just curious.
So why would it be the brown one?
I don't know. Maybe they're trying to get some use out of that ugly ass thing, and we'll use it one last time.
Wow, man, wrong side of the bed this morning.
Well, I think we can all agree.
I mean, we can, but geez, dude. I mean, you know.
I'm looking at Edwin. Thanks for pulling these up. I'm looking at the uniforms for the All-Star game.
They're sweet.
Yeah, they're not bad. And then this is the Rising Stars Challenge. No, they have their own. They have their Rising Stars unis.
I'm talking about for tomorrow night, to be very clear.
Oh, tomorrow night? Yeah, that'll be Spurs.
Yeah.
That's when you're dribbling and passing and showing off of your skills. We're gonna talk about who's gonna win those things. We'll look at participants and the players and all that goes on. Moving on. But first, Dave Campo talked about accountability yesterday. And I think you and I think, are on different sides of the fence when it comes to accountability, because I do think cultures can change rather radically. I do think coaches can, even at a professional level, bring the kind of accountability that the Cowboys have lacked for as long as I can remember. I think it can happen.
Okay. I mean, I just think that I think we're taking a little bit too much responsibility away from the players and acting like it's completely Dan Quinn's fault, or whatever.
I will not dispute that. I think that it is not just your coach's fault, but I think the coaches are expected to set a level of expectation that, if not met, there are prices to pay, and I don't think there's much price to pay in the Cowboys locker room.
My only point is, and you had a similar point when you were talking about Kyle Juszczyk and the backup left guard, like, it's their fault for not knowing the rules about overtime in the Super Bowl. Like, it's not necessarily on Kyle Shanahan to hold their hand, although I disagree with you on that. But, I mean, Dan Quinn can demand accountability all he wants, and so can Mike Zimmer. But, like, at the end of the day, these are professionals. These are adults. And if they're not living up to that, end of the bargain, like, that's on them. Like, that's not necessarily, I agree. I get the point, and it's kind of a cyclical sort of argument. Like,
no, and it goes so much deeper, RJ. It goes so much deeper because it goes to the type of player you draft. I mean, it's an endemic thing that if you're willing to look past it in the locker room, I think you're willing to look past it in the scouting report, because it's something you're not even looking for. I mean, You look at Baltimore and you look at Pittsburgh, and I think some of the things that they're looking for on the top 3 attributes are on the bottom 4 for the Cowboys.
See, like Campo said something else, just quickly about how he's always had a problem with players who play for the Cowboys and the adoration that comes with it. And the line was something like, Cowboys players can see whatever they want. And I don't know that it's like, I don't think they're bringing in these non-accountable players. I think that the culture of their organization somewhat breeds that out of them, if that makes sense.
There's certainly that. It is, you go with the flow. You become what others have been. There is this corporate knowledge that's passed on either by class and, indoctrination and all that. And then there's just the culture you follow. And I think there has been, for the longest time, the ability to get by on things because you could go past the coach to the owner. There was never the buck stops here on any situation. Now, I'm not sure that's still the case, but for the longest time it was. That if you had a problem and you felt like the coach was leaning on you or whatever it might be, go to the owner. I don't think there's ever been a real price to pay for even the little things. And then when the big things happen, you get Sam Williams. You get a repeat offender. You get a guy that obviously there's not a price to pay.
I don't know if you recall this. It's funny that you bring up Sam, and I know that Ultra Cowboy did in the Brigade Bar, but Sam was a Dan Quinn guy.
Yeah,
that was one that Dan wanted. This was 2 years ago now. Dan Quinn went down to Ole Miss. Dan Quinn worked him out. Dan Quinn said he reminded him of Micah Parsons. That was a Dan Quinn special right there. So if you, if you do agree with Coach Campo that Dan Quinn lacked the level of accountability with his players, the proof is kind of in the pudding with Sam Williams as a primary example.
Because he's the prime example of what is endemic. That, man, you can make plays. There's the Jimmy Johnson idea is I'll take a playmaker with some problems over an average with nothing every day of the week. But when the bad side is as consistent as the possibility, it's not worth the effort. You're shooting yourself in the foot. And I think that applied to that very fine area of what made Dan Quinn great and what made everybody mad at Dan Quinn. Because there are a bunch of playmakers running around on that defense. There's no question. And when they're making plays, it's a damn fun thing to watch. It's like watching an avalanche. They keep coming. But when they're on their heels, it's like watching a team on roller skates. And that's been the problem all the time. They get blocked, they get manhandled, and game over.
We've been talking a lot about in the last, 2 weeks about the We Are the World documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And please help me. Who was the person who set it up and wrote the sign outside? Who was the
Quincy Jones, the producer.
Thank you. Quincy Jones, he wrote on this, he wrote a sign on top of the door that was like, check your ego at the door.
Legendary.
And it's like, so this is literally the like a collection of the most talented voices in the world. And if they can all sing in harmony and together, it can sound really wonderful. But if they won't, and if they don't, like, it can be kind of chaotic. And that documentary is kind of representative of this overall effect. Like, if you have all this talent, and you can get it to work for the greater good, something really special can happen. But if you can't, then you just have, you're smaller than the sum of your parts.
And I think the best example that Campo brought up of this is the Micah DQ relationship.
I think he loves the guy. Now, he's not going to back down. It will be a little bit of a transition for Micah Parsons. But when he makes statements like that, which, obviously I don't condone him going, he probably shouldn't have a podcast. But if he feels that way, that's one of the things that I think the street cred that Zimmer brings in. He has won a Super Bowl. He's got the ring. He can walk in with the ring. So that in itself offers a little bit of respect. The guy's been a pretty darn good defensive coach his entire career.
Gosh darn it.
They didn't lose games in Minnesota based on the defense very often. So he's got street cred, and that's what respect comes from. I think there'll be a little bit of back and forth with that. But at the same time, Zim's not going to back down. And to be honest with you, if a guy doesn't buy in, he's not going to be there.
Oh, Zim or DQ? That was yesterday. Dave Campos sitting with Jason and Joe. We call the show The Blitz.
This podcast conversation isn't going away. Like,
you get the sense, right?
As a podcaster, it makes me a little uncomfortable, but I don't know if you saw this. Calvin Watkins wrote something in the Dallas Morning News this week, and he talked about how social media and podcasting need to be subjects for the Cowboys to attack this offseason. And I think a lot of people agree with him. Like, that's what happens when you lose the way you did, is people come for you and the things you have. It's all great when you're winning, but when you're not, it's a price to pay.
As someone who feeds in that food chain, I'm not sure I'm all for it, although I am, in fact, all for it. Hey, coming back in praise of greatness, she's only 99 points away from Maravich. Caitlin Clark sets a record the right way. Last night was spectacular. We're talking about it next. Thanks for hanging with us. We're in the huddle. We call it the Morning Huddle. He's RJ. I'm Rob. You're 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The boys are back from Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
You heard the big game on Sunday, and the boys made it back thanks to AA Best Bail Bonds and presented by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Synergenics. Next year, it's off to the Big Easy on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
So how did you stumble across our show?
So, Saturday mornings when I'm heading to one of my meetings, I put on the radio and I listen to...
This is what you don't want to be. You don't want to be a drunk.
Right. You don't want to become like John Clay Wolf. So go to a meeting.
I inspire you to go to AA.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our motto is simple. George gets justice. But what does that mean for you? It means you get an award-winning team of attorneys who will fight for everything taken from you so that you can get back to what matters in life. When we say George gets justice, it's just not a motto. It's a commitment to you. Call us at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice.
Attention all homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just call 800-721-9205 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Call 800-721-9205 right now. Don't wait. Call 800-721-9205. 800-721-9205.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
Is the IRS making you feel anxious? Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief specialize in problems like yours, and they're ready to negotiate your fresh start. Don't go another year fearing the IRS. Allies Tax Relief will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. You only pay if you qualify for their services, so why wait? Call 800-280-4184 today. That's 800-280-4184.
This is Andrew Monaco, and the Aggies play here. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
How will she go for history? The all-time leading scorer in women's college basketball.
That was history last night. It happened fast. If you tuned in to catch the game, Caitlin just needed a couple points as Iowa went into it. and got them fast. She scored the first 8. The 3 that beat it was a deep, beautiful shot that was apropos to the moment. It was apropos to her game. It was apropos to what has been a fun ride that ain't done. I said it as we went into break. She's chasing not just greatness, but we're talking about the stratospheres that very few have reached, like Pete Maravich, only 99 points away from breaking Pistol Pete's record down at LSU. And that was one of those you'll never break it, see it broken kind of records. And it's been 50 years. The chase is going to be glorious, though the greatness is already there. She is the biggest thing in sports right now.
I mean, it's really special when things like this happen, and it was also badass the way it happened. You know, like it would have, like if it had just been like if it had worked out, it was like a free throw or something. Like it would have been like, well, this is cool, but you know, but like for it to happen this way was like, okay, Caitlin, do it in style. I mean, so yeah, I mean, there's no like we're gonna continue to see history at this point in time. Like it is always cool when you can say like, I saw this, I saw that, whatever, and to live through it is a really special thing.
There's something about the great ones, and we can name them. You can name the sport that when they understand their greatness, and they know that the most individual things, whether by happenstance or design, matter. And that shot, that Caitlin shot to break the record, that will live forever. It was glorious. It was perfect. The moment was ideal. She took it, and the way it was attacked, I mean, there was no waiting around. Let's just get this thing done. And
yeah, I think there's something special to when there's a record in sight, attacking it like that. You know, sometimes I think you see people almost try to be humble about it.
In the flow.
Like,
I'll
exactly.
let it come to me. No.
But like for her to be like, no, I mean, like we all know why we're here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to waste any time. It's, you know, like, I think it's like silly in like the NFL when, you know, a record happens, it's like on 2nd and 6 and they pick up like the 4 yards they need. And then they're like, oh, this is cool, you know, whatever, as opposed to like, dude, do it like in the biggest, baddest possible way. And that's what she did.
What I hope, you know, sometimes we don't realize we're in the greatest days of something until we're long past it. We're in the greatest days of the WNBA and women's basketball. We're in the era that people are going to look back on. If you look at the list of the top 25 greatest WNBA players of all time, most of them have played within the last decade, and many of them are still playing. We're in the midst of utter escalation of game, of prominence, and the addition of Caitlin to what is already a remarkable cast of greatness across the WNBA. It couldn't be at a better time as we come into this crossroads. We got the Summer Olympics coming up. The spotlight is on, and you can see a very near future that is dominated by Caitlin on one side and Wemby on another. You feel like this is one of those times where we're seeing just the ability of players expand not only on the court, but to this global market that is just so desperate to consume what is the next of a chain of great players.
Yeah, I mean, and really great weekend now. Obviously, getting it started. Everybody waking up today on the heels of this, and then Sabrina going shot for shot with Steph tomorrow. I mean, basketball rules, and I mean, they're two of the biggest reasons why today. So, I mean, just again, I have such a high level of respect for the way she attacked this, like that she made sure everybody got well worth the price of their ticket, so to speak. Like, you know, she put on a show, and there's something to like great performers and great athletes who are able to say, I'm here to put on a show. Like that it's not a question. It's just simply a decision of I'm this good and I'm going to prove it and I'm going to show it and everybody's going to have to deal with it.
Oh, by the way, she leads Division I in assists as well. Oh, man, I love being in the presence of greatness. That's why I love my co-host. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. We call the show the Morning Huddle. You better call it home, and you better put a thumb on it. Come on, Noties. We'll see you in just a minute.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended silver unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
2 seconds left on the clock, third field goal range, and it looks like he's going to go with a 5-iron. No, wait. The quarterback is skating back on the ice. He's talking with his caddy. They're pulling the goalie. He skates off the fairway as the kicker lines up his putt. It's a breakaway! They bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Touchdown savings, birdie goal!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, your home for Aggies basketball.
All the way to the basket. Laid up and in, counted and one.
KTFM Floresville, San Antonio's Sports Center.
The NBA takes center stage this weekend as it's All-Star Weekend. Tonight, the Rising Stars game gets going at 8 o'clock, a game you can catch live right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Wemby and Sochan will be participants. The basketball world stays busy as Texas heads to Houston tomorrow to take on third-ranked Houston Cougars, a tip set for noon on CBS.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Wembenyama goes behind the back here. Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembenyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around us. It's the Morning Huddle. We got stuff to talk about. He's RJ Ochoa, the managing editor of Blogging the Boys and current caretaker to a recently surgerized puppy. I'm Rob Thompson. I know where my car is, and that is Easy E. Edwin Hefner on the other side of the double pane on the second of what has been a back-to-back for him, 16-hour day yesterday. Bear with him as we go through the day.
A real back-to-back.
A true back-to-back. And you know what? My man does not load manage. Edwin Hafner comes to play. He laces them up. He's old school. Much like a Reebok All-Star jersey. Old school. Pump it up, baby. This weekend will be a fun weekend, of course, as All-Star Weekend is. They were the first to understand the star power of their players, and the weekend has become just this spectacular event of melding of music and sport and movie and all things entertainment into one fun weekend in Indianapolis. Tonight we get the roundabout that is the Rising Star thing, where we got a couple 4 teams. I don't know how many teams. Several teams. 4 teams. We got Team Jalen, Team Tamika, Team Detlef Shrimp. I get to say that again all weekend long. And Team Pow taking on each other in a kind of a roundabout young star show-off event, which is fun.
So real quick question. We're not there, but say we had gone, right? Flown in Indianapolis, right? We're going to get some St. Elmo's shrimp cocktails.
Oh, go have some St. Elmo steak, baby. Anyway.
Right. But say we landed, would you have, if there had been a ball, would you have taken a shot at the court in the airport that's been all over social?
Absolutely, I would have.
Really? Like, what would you put up a 3? Like, so I'm like you making me hold your suitcase? Like, what's going on? Like, detail it.
Well, if I'd have been in the airport first, I would have posed next to the giant Wemby arm that is over the luggage carousel.
Shout out Don Harris.
Then I would, that was brilliant, and we knew it was coming. This is his face is literally in the airport as you arrive. I'd take the 3.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think you can show up and like go do a layup.
Well, first I would have you putt before you drive. Yeah, you do. I tell them just like your golf. The first thing to do is go drive later. So I'd dribble around, take a layup, shoot a free throw, then get the lay of the land, get the Kentucky windage, and take a shot.
This is the weekend of Wemby.
I hope so. I truly hope it will.
No, it is. What do you mean you hope so?
Well, I want him to be good. I want him to be good in the moment. And, when you look at, greatness and moments, that's what creates the superstars. And we saw it last night in Caitlin, who it's just some people have it. I think Wemby has it. I look back to the Phoenix game when the season began. He understood man meets moment, and so did Pop. And he was allowed to go do some ridiculous things, and he did it. And he set the table for what was coming, and very little has changed. And I would hope tonight and over the weekend that Wemby and we all know what he can do on the court. I think what's going to make him a superstar is the way that he handles everything else this weekend. He's going to look like a very mature old soul this weekend doing spectacular things. And I hope after all is said and done that he is the conversation above and beyond what goes on Sunday afternoon.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the weekend of people catching up. People, because it's not like, the unfortunate reality is, and was the Bucks game a national game? Now that I think back, the Bucks game was, right?
It was,
yeah. And Wemby kind of went off, but these last few moments are just people seeing their Instagram feed with the stat graphics. You know what I'm saying? And they're just like, oh, this is cool, but whatever. This is a different weekend. This is everyone catching up. This is everyone saying like, this dude's really that good? How come they only have 11 wins? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is everyone catching up to the conversation. And I really think that his future as an ambassador of basketball begins tonight.
Well said. This weekend, by the numbers, it'll be in Indianapolis. It's the second time they've hosted an all-star game. The last time was 1985. Feels like they've been there since then. They get to host the draft here in a couple of weeks too. They're the center of the sport universe. The last time it was there, Michael Jordan made his first all-star game as a rookie. So there's some circuitry there. Ralph Sampson was named the all-star game MVP, and the West beat the East 140-129 tonight. For the third straight season, we'll have the 3-game mini tournament of the Rising Stars. I just told you who the coaches are. Wemby and Jeremy will be part of that.
Jeremy's on Jalen's team, just so everyone's aware.
Yes.
I mentioned Wemby's on Pow's team.
Let's see here. We also will have the 3-point contest on Saturday. Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Donovan Mitchell, and the big cat, Karl Anthony Towns, which that kind of sums up what the only flaw in Minnesota's game is that. But, there's nothing going to take away from Wemby's shine in the 3-point contest unless somebody does something ridiculous. I'm going to put my money on Lauri Markkanen. That's the guy that I think
Well, we'll do our official pitch everything. Don't spoil it. I mean, that's what you literally just did. You just spoiled it.
Well, it might change. The Steph Sabrina 3-point challenge on Saturday should be fun.
With the court. Don't forget the court.
Yeah, that will have the video court. In the final round, remember last year, Sabrina scored 37 out of 40. Remember that?
Jeez.
As we praise Caitlin, there's a lot of other ballers out there too, and she's one of them. It's going to be a great showcase. I think that'll be cool. The slam dunk on Saturday, Jaylen Brown, Jaime Jaquez, the rookie, Matt McClung returns, Jacob Toppin.
I mean, I don't know. I want to reserve my right to pick.
Okay, well let's be real about this. So we have one guy in Toppin who's a two-way player with the Knicks. Not Obi, it's his brother. Matt McClung, who is somewhere in basketball, I think found most recently on a TikTok. Jaime Jaquez, who's the rookie, who, I mean, yeah, he can dunk. And Jaylen Brown, I think this is kind of set up for the highest paid Boston Celtic.
This is no pressure, Jaylen, but you kind of have to do this, or else everyone's going to make fun of you forever. You know what I mean? Like this is your thing. Don't mess it up.
And we've gotten to, this is not New Sports Talk Ground saying the slam dunk competition is boring. Yeah, it's boring, but it's the sum total of what the NBA offers us. Even though we're a little tired of it, we got to do it. It's kind of like the home run derby in baseball.
The home run derby.
If you do it enough,
lives up to the hype.
And every now and then, like 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? The Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon.
That was
4 years ago? 5 years ago?
That was
every now and then you get an unexpected. Holy cow, that was amazing!
My gosh, that was 8 years ago.
Was it 8 years ago now? So it's been a minute. We're due. McClung was cool to watch, but anybody who had any kind of social media presence had seen him do what he was capable of.
The bar is really low.
Yes,
I want you to use a prop. I almost want you to be cartoony about it. You know what I mean? Like, or it's the last thing of the night. Let's just have fun.
I think we should look at it's the last thing of the night. You're right, and some nights it's great, some nights it's not. But I do think that each league does have their particular idioms, but they're really good at stuff. And I think for the NBA, they are really good at putting on a show. But if you combine the show with the monolith that is the NFL, the cult that is the NHL, and the history that is MLB, I think we have some ingredients to have the perfect all-star Super Bowl MVP showcase kind of weekend. I think we should put together the perfect
one
weekend.
Of everything.
I think we should put together like if I could have my perfect showcase events for my favorite sports in one weekend,
like a field day.
Like one day. Yeah, we got this home run derby, and it's very quickly followed by the how fast is the slap shot in hockey, followed by the quarterback throwing the ball and hitting the golf cart 40 yards down. I mean, all the things that combine to make the half sport, the kind of sport, a fantastic weekend. I think we should come
perfect ball.
Hey,
yeah,
you'd think this is a professional talk radio show. The Dude Perfect weekend.
If I had to take an element, because it has to be something that the common man can do.
No, the first thing I'm going to ask you when we do this is what would you take out? We're gonna whittle away. We're not going to add in.
Well, but again, if it's relative to the common man, this is pretty obvious and pretty simple.
Well, yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like this has to be something that every human being can do, so to speak.
Well, not every. There's some mouth breathers I don't want to have to involve in this at all.
I also want to, before we get out of here today, the radio audience can't see, but I'm wearing my 2006 NBA All-Star shooting jacket.
It is glorious.
I would like to quiz you on this. I'm looking at this now, the 2006 All-Star roster.
Okay, I got to put myself in the mind of the 05 genre, the era that was.
I know you'll appreciate this. Throw yourself back to NBA Live. Like, not NBA 2K, NBA Live.
I hate to admit that NBA Live always sucked. 2K, it did. Man, I was inside the building.
Suck.
In fact, I was inside the building when it was dying.
It did not
suck.
It was
did.
awesome. What
in fact, when I was there in 08,
you don't have a right.
We stole the dev guy from 2K just to try to save the franchise. We went out and totally scalped him. and it didn't work.
It was great.
It was there were the sideline games were better. NBA Street was a far better game.
Well, duh. I mean, but like to say NBA Live sucked is disingenuous.
Well, I'm just saying it from a guy who was inside the building watching things crumble. It was not a good time.
I want to quiz you on the All-Star rosters. Back to the point. But I also want to quiz you on who partook in the challenges because I was at the Saturday night festivities. So I want to quiz you on who was involved in these, as well as the sponsors for these events.
Okay.
Because they have changed.
Pets.com? No, that was even before that.
Substantially in 18 years. They're not like, we're not talking about like, the A-Track Shooting Stars Challenge or anything like that, but they have changed and passed over through hands over time.
All right. I think I'm of the mind of that era. I think so. I'm ready.
Are you ready to do this? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think we'll do it
now.
Yeah, we got a couple minutes. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's go in chronological order. The Rookie Challenge. I don't think I'm going to get this whole roster, but who do you think sponsored it?
In 2006?
This took place on Friday, February 17th. So this was today, that year.
I'm going to guess, was Kia a part of it by then? Early? Was this too early for that?
This was the T-Mobile Rookie
T-Mobile. That's nothing new. All right, T-Mobile.
I'm gonna rip through these rosters. This is the East. Andrew Bogut, Luther Head, Channing Frye, Danny Granger, Sarunas. The last name is very difficult for me. Jasikevičius, Chris Paul, Nate Robinson, Charlie Villanueva, and Deron Williams. Good times. Those were the rookies. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The sophomores: Luol Deng, T.J. Ford, Ben Gordon, Devin Harris, Dwight Howard, Iggy, Jameer Nelson, Emeka Okafor, Delonte West.
Not a deep year for rookies.
Who do you think sponsored the 3-point contest?
They did for a while. I think I know this. I hate to. I think Foot Locker.
It's the Foot Locker 3-point contest.
I think Foot Locker did for a while, but that wasn't just a one-off. They did it for a bit.
There were 7 participants. Can you name
not
3?
One? No, I couldn't name one.
In 2006, you're going to be really mad.
And which competition are we talking about?
This is the Foot Locker 3-point contest.
The 3-point.
Actually, excuse me, the Foot Locker 3-point shootout.
Let's of that era. Ray Allen. That would be one that I would bring out. Jason Terry.
That's 2. Look at you. You're 2 for 2.
Dude, that's all I can think of.
You're going to be really mad. I promise you. You're going to be really upset with yourself.
I'm telling you, I can't think of anybody else.
Agent Zero.
Oh, see, that I questioned. I was thinking Gilbert, but then after that, there's nobody in my mind.
Raja Bell did not participate. Agent Zero.
If you had told me he had, I'd have bought it.
He was chosen. Chauncey Billups. So, sorry.
Chauncey was in a 3-point shootout?
Quentin Richardson and
oh wow,
Dirk.
Q.
Yeah,
was Q sober?
Last one, or I'm sorry, there were two other things really quickly. Who sponsored the Skills Challenge?
I have no idea.
The PlayStation Skills Challenge.
That's of course I would have no idea.
Featured 4 players, and looking back on this, it's pretty cool. Can you name one?
Well, how about you said Iggy was? What about Iggy?
No. LeBron.
Oh, okay.
Steve Nash, Chris Paul, and Dwayne Wade.
Wow, that's awesome. That I would watch that rerun.
The Sprite Rising Star Slam Dunk Contest featured who? Name one.
Tracy McGrady.
No. Iggy, who came in second. Josh Smith.
Oh, Josh for the max. Okay.
And the winner was Nate Robinson.
Nate. So some of those names lingered for a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Last thing really quickly. The Shooting Stars competition, which San Antonio won, by the way. The San Antonio team was Tony Parker, Kendra Wecker, and Steve Kerr. But they won. They beat the Houston team, which had T-Mac, Sheryl Swoops, and Clyde. The LA team with Kobe, Lisa Leslie, and Magic. And the Phoenix team with Sean Marion, Kelly Miller, and Dan Marley. But it was the radio
Let's say I have a poster of that. The 3 of the Spurs with Kerr, and I was going to say, didn't Radio Shack was still a thing in 2006?
Mm-hmm.
You know what drove them out of business is you went in to buy something and they always wanted your zip code, kind of like Academy always wants your zip. Like, why?
Yeah. We want your email.
No.
You know, your phone number.
I always give them
Your
yours.
social. Yeah, that's fair.
So all that Academy mail
you can guess the actual All-Stars later. I think you'll get some.
From 06, that's a wide range that should include a couple of Spurs. Klay Thompson brought up Manu Ginobili yesterday as he went to the bench. Well, let's listen to Klay Thompson use Manu as a reason to exist.
Found out this morning. Me and Steve had a good talk about it. And, you know, you could do two things. You can pout or you can go out there and respond. And I thought I did the latter very well tonight.
You did both.
Especially no turnovers, and I missed a few box outs, though. But more importantly, I realized I'm going to play a ton of minutes. So you just got to let the ego go when you think of coming off the bench and all that. So, I mean, I thought about Manu Ginobili. That guy has 4 rings and gold medal, and he came off the bench his whole career. And I don't think anyone looks down on his Hall of Fame candidacy. He's one of the greats, and I thought I embraced
I don't know
it.
what to do with my hands. Klay Thompson reflecting on his greatness in comparison with a truly great player in Manu Ginobili. I don't know. He was he's sitting on the dais trying to justify. I appreciate the words. I don't get the inflection or the body language. You can say the right things, and in a newspaper print, it sounds really good. I saw you. You're still pouting, bro.
I mean, I don't even have a problem if you are pouting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it sucks. It's okay. It's okay.
It doesn't suck. That's anybody listening here
suck.
being told that your job is something to win a basketball game. And it involves coming off the bench and going and getting 38 or whatever he got. I think that's a pretty good ask. I don't know if there's any belly aching at all. I don't know what it would be.
Multiple things can be true. It can be true that it has its pros, but it also has its cons, right? Like, if you're him, you're used to being, dude, like when you play basketball growing up, you're like, man, I can't wait to be introduced among the starters and blah. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
I get
it's hard. I mean,
but
it's okay.
What he offered was a humble brag that I will subjugate my greatness because, Manu did it. But I know I'll be getting plenty of minutes. Yeah, okay, I get you. But Klay, you're well past your prime, man. You're lucky you're even a 6-man. You're lucky you're even getting a thing structured for you because defensively, you're a shadow. You're a shadow of what you were.
Dude.
He is. I'm not. But the way that he reacted, like, dude, yes, it's over for you as a starter.
The other thing I would offer is, like, Klay, you're already a Hall of Famer. Like, let's
yes, have a little bit of like, my God, yes.
Like, like, I understand you're just trying to, like, cope a little bit here, and I don't blame you for that. But, like, you'll be all right. Like, and you're totally fine. So just be cool. I mean, but at the same time, I also empathize with him. It's fine to pout. Pout all you want, man. It's cool. I'm good with that.
Just go out and do it.
I'm looking at pictures of NBA Live. I can't believe you hated on this. This rule.
It was a decent game that was outclassed by 2K. I was on the inside fighting this thing. I saw what 2K was capable of, and they took a game and made it better. And we tried. I was there when we stole the deaf guy. Went and lured him away, and it didn't help. But the street was better. It was always a lot more fun.
Again, street was obviously better, but nobody's denying that. Like, multiple things can be good. You're a hater. You're Klay Thompson right now. Just chill out, man. Like, just be cool.
Well, it's pretty sad when you're inside the building and you're playing 2K.
Wow. Did you know that Micah Parsons is on the Celebrity All-Star?
Hey, coming back, we're gonna talk about Micah and the Cowboys coming up. Mike Zimmer's to-do list as he has to get busy as we get into the free agency and drafting. We're going to talk about that. But yesterday on the social medias, Micah Parsons was traveling somewhere and started. Was that where he's going, to Indianapolis?
I mean, well, he's playing in it. I mean, so
okay. I didn't know this. I didn't know that's where he was headed. I just saw the tweet, and he was in an airport, and he was being assaulted by some fans.
Assaulted.
Well, that's how it felt. We're going to talk about Micah's tweet storm. And what did you call it? Sometimes, man, just tweet through it. You're going to have to have to power through a mistake.
Tweet through it, man. You can do this.
And if you were the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, what's the first thing you would do? We'll look at Zimmer's to-do list. Also, Wemby and the Shooting Stars Challenge. What do you expect and what do you want to see? We'll look around the NBA. Dave Campo, formerly of Dallas Cowboy head coaching fame, currently somewhere in Jacksonville, joined the Blitz yesterday and spoke to Dan Quinn and what went south in his tenure with the Cowboys. We got a whole bunch of stuff to look at as well. Caitlin breaks the record, and another young lady pulled down 44 rebounds in a game last night. Basketball is front and center, but football lingers. Hold on tight. We got a lot to do, and we're coming back talking Cowboys right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. But before we go, I want to talk to you about SA Card House. You know, you had your Valentine's dinner out. You went and joined, and now you're a member at the SA Card House. Smart move. You're a member of the preeminent, the very best card house in all of San Antonio. You've already seen what I'm talking about, the comfortable environment, the welcoming crew, the wonderful kitchen coming over at Foster's Grill, the cash games, the friendly and highly skilled staff that works there, all that goes into the preeminent card house in all of San Antonio. You'd go there just for the environment. You will stay there for all the things they do for you. You are a member and will be treated as such. So the games they play every month will keep you involved in winning, even if the cards aren't being friendly. Just by sitting there and spending time, there's money to be won. And the Bad Beat tournament, the NLH tournaments are going on all month long. Aces or kings or better going on. If you can play the game, you can be a loser and still take 40% out. They're going to be spinning the wheel for the prizes up to 20K in some of these spins. They're going to do it over and over all month long. I'm talking about 800 tickets in the Risk It Tumbler. I'm talking about a Love It or Risk It spin, 696 total drawings. I'm talking about just being there and winning. That's SA Card House. Go over for the poker. Dude, SA Card House. It's at 281 in Bitters. Go out and see what everybody's talking about. Go have some fun. Maybe even win some prize money and a hand or two. That's SA Card House. Go there today. I know you're going to be thanking me later.
It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2.
Coming up on The Blitz, we are live at the Rue Pub. Always fun, but especially on a Friday. We got a lot to talk about. Spurs in action tonight.
Well, sort of. Wemby and Sochan in the Rising Stars Challenge. Plus, we'll talk more. Mike Zimmer is the defensive coordinator. John Machota from The Athletic joins us at 5:15. The Blitz, live out at the Rue Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We start at 2.
The Blitz with Jason and Joe. Afternoons at 2 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high temperature performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through March 4th, get 5 quarts of Castrol Edge or Edge High Mileage Full Synthetic and an oil filter for $36.99, only at AutoZone.
Claim based on Sequence 3H test versus API SP test limits.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150-milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Attention all homeowners, do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? It's time to replace. Fog between the glass? Time to replace. Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen, the company with the most 5-star reviews among leading full-service window replacement companies. And right now, you can save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. Just call 800-NEW-WINDOWS for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, save $359 off every window and $887 off every door. But hurry, these big dollar savings end this month. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS right now. Don't wait. Call 800-NEW-WINDOWS. 800-NEW-WINDOWS.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. The Blitz starts at 2 o'clock, and we're going to start at the Roo Pub, get the weekend kicked off on the right foot. Plus, we're going to talk some Spurs basketball. Well, sort of. Wemby and Jeremy Sochan in the Rising Stars Challenge. And, well, more Mike Zimmer talk. John Machota will join us from The Athletic at 5:15. Hey, RJ, you really sent faxes lately?
Yeah, I saw that. Welcome back to the Morning Huddle. That afternoon, guys, that's big fudge. He uses a fax machine. RJ Ochoa, he just thinks things and people get it.
Joe has a
what was this? What was this back and forth? Hey, what was this going back and forth on the on our group chats?
There was an email that went out that the station is getting rid of all fax machines.
And,
and Jason and Joe were just like, I haven't sent a fax in forever. They, just going on and on. And so I hit him up and I was like, y'all are so full of it. Like, y'all have both each sent a fax at least within the last 5 years. And then Joe said, and I quote, it was a fax machine that saved Harrison Ford in Air Force One. He said that he was able to fax the vice president is what saved that whole movie. And I just thought to myself, I was like, I don't think any human being has ever pulled that like that.
In 1989, my dad got a fax machine in your car.
I remember seeing those in movies.
The Jetsons, man. I was like, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Now it came out on that receipt paper, that paper that, it's not ink, it like burns into the, you know what I mean? It was very flimsy paper, but it was a fax in your car. And I
came
thought,
out like, he's like,
analog's gone,
to pick
baby.
Up water on the way home.
Oh man, digital is here.
So I'm not gonna.
Before we dive into, I want to do something real quick, and this is kind of a San Antonio thing, a Puro thing that I want to do. The San Antonio Missions are getting ready to start playing again, and the very best mascots in all of minor league baseball are right here in San Antonio. Balapino, outstanding. USA Today right now is having a contest they're voting for the best minor league mascots. So on my social media, I have on Facebook and also on Instagram, I have retweeted the missions or sent forward or forwarded the missions, the link to go click. You can vote daily until March the 11th. Hey, let's get Balapeno and the likes down there with the missions. They're just desserts. Go vote. I just did. You should too. So if you don't know where to go, find me on Facebook and you'll see it. Click on the link and you can go vote and do it on the daily through March 11th. Let's get them where they need to be.
Well said. I'm not going to act like we don't talk about the Dallas Cowboys a lot. Okay.
Well, they are my abiding joy.
So I have I'm a Fubo customer. You know, it's not a free ad or just, I mean, it's not an ad, but just just
So
saying.
am I.
And I've talked before how I have an Apple TV and it allows you to watch 4 different things simultaneously. So,
Show
got
off.
this going on, watching things, keeping tabs on things. I'm pretty certain, Rob, that literally every day this week, Get Up has hit. Do the Cowboys have a culture problem? I'm very certain that I've seen that every day this week
because it's easy.
I know, but the Chiefs won the Super Bowl on Sunday and did so for the 3rd time in 5 years.
They don't
We
have
haven't
a culture
established
problem.
the championship program. It's just not the world championship yet.
Do the Cowboys have a I mean, like, just chum in the water. I mean, geez, have some, be somewhat.
Well, there
cool
is some
about
truth
it.
to it. But see, what it feels like, because we talk Cowboys, we're very aware that there's a culture problem. That's not anything new that anybody's followed the Cowboys. We just, it's the strive to overcome that culture problem that is indeed the story. Every year, can we overcome, as a Cowboy organization and Cowboy fandom, the price of being a Cowboy? Can you overcome it? Can you pay the price of being a Cowboy? The existence of that has not gone away, and we're seeing it manifested in a lot of ways. Micah Parsons yesterday was another manifestation of, can you pay the price of being a Dallas Cowboys? Because with much glory comes much request and ire and an issue. And Micah is an example of what we saw yesterday. So yesterday he's landing in Indianapolis, I guess, or flying, and a series of tweets come out, and he's upset by the fact that he's got some fans in the airport that are following him and asking for autographs.
So there were 4 tweets total. He really did tweet through it. Said the fact that it was 8, I'm kind of paraphrasing and skimming. The fact that it was 8 grown men waiting outside my gate with mini helmets. Pictures when I got off my plane's insane. I hope y'all realize sometimes how much athletes got a lady. This lady is currently following me with a photo of a woman. And then a second tweet, this woman and these kids followed me to my luggage now. Is there any type of self-respect and dignity anymore? Again, with a photo. Then 2 more follow-up tweets. For everyone saying I didn't decline, y'all don't think I declined and asked politely to be left alone. There were grown men who followed me and crowd to my car. At what point is it too far? I'm confused. Finally, in the end, I don't think there has been an athlete more for the fan than me. This is the person who several tweets before tweeted out photos of people lambasting them. It's just a time and place for everything. Rushing me after I get off of a flight is not the time, period. I wouldn't say all, because, all is hard. But maybe 85 to 90% of the interactions with these tweets were like, dude, come back down to earth. Like, a lot of people were like, do you know that you're Micah Parsons?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were like, this is kind of like, do you not know that you play for the Dallas Cowboys? By the way, Rob, totally separate. Make sure you subscribe to, like, and review Micah Parsons' podcast. You know what I mean? Just heads up. You know what I mean? Look, I don't have a problem with, like, players doing podcasts and things like that. Like, that's not, an issue for me. I recognize it is for some people, but this is it probably, annoying to be, hounded like this? Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, but I mean, putting it out there like that and expecting people to, like, sympathize or empathize with you, like, was a lapse in judgment at the very least. At the very least, thinking that people were going to be like, oh, dude, like, you have a great point here. You know what I mean? Like, and what Micah is learning this offseason is when you disappoint in chaotically dramatic fashion, the way that the Dallas Cowboys did, ain't nobody have your back. Nobody's riding with you. Nobody's going to come with you on any point like this. It is going to be nothing but hate and vitriol for the most part, but that's the gig. That's what it's like being a member of the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm so mad at him.
You sound like you're warming up, dude.
Well, I mean,
Get up.
He is not the first.
That's true.
He's not the first to say this, and he won't be the last. But I think that he got some very quick advice on the side as those tweets were coming out. Somebody saw it and told him, "Hey, man," or he read the comments.
Somebody was like, "This isn't the hill.
This is not the hill to die on." But it's such a great example of what it's like to be on a losing Dallas Cowboy team. That that it's not going to stop for you, Micah. This isn't, you think that this couple of tweets, people are not going to stop coming up to you? For so many of us that get to see an athlete for the first and only time, and that athlete turns you down. Shaq used the David Robinson slight as motivation for years, and I'm not even sure it even happened. My brother will tell you a story, and I'm not going to bring up the professional basketball player, but he was a great one at St. John's and at Golden State. You can figure out who it was. Talks about running into him right when he was a superstar, and what a royal jerk he was. And to this day, we're talking about something that happened 35 years ago. We all know there's boundaries. You don't walk up to somebody who's eating. Now, you have every right to say, hey, man, not now. But you have every right to turn them down. But you don't have any right to hold any ire toward them at all. You have none. You accept the fact.
I don't mean to say that you have a right to hold ire, but if you want to hold ire, if that's your personal choice, I don't even have an issue with that. I think the biggest problem here is, like, imagine being in those photos that he's tweeting.
Right.
Like, that's just kind of like, dude, I mean, like, actually, I don't know off the top of my head. Let's see here. Micah has, guess how many Twitter followers, right?
Oh, it's in the hundreds of thousands.
567,000 Twitter followers. I mean, like, what is the, like, what good comes from you publicly shaming and humiliating this person? I get that it's probably, and no, I get that it's undeniably annoying. I get that it's probably flustering and frustrating and, off-putting, right? All these things. And I get that it's probably all those things to continually keep saying no and to be followed. Like, awful. I'm not going to act like I know what that's like.
I can't imagine.
But to like, again, to take these photos and sort of like, I mean, because the purpose in attaching the photo to the tweet is like, hey, shame them with me, right? Like, everybody get in on this. Like, let's dunk on these randoms. You know what I mean? And I'm not even like advocating that their behavior is copacetic, but I just like, even if you're only interested in your agenda, Micah, you only stand to lose by doing this. Like, even if you don't care about these people, which is, well, again, that's completely up to you. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever, but like, you only stand to lose reputation wise by doing this. No good was ever going to come from this. And he doubled and tripled and quadrupled down. And the crazy part about it is, if you do subscribe to the Get Up theory that they have a culture problem, he's on his way to the All-Star Celebrity Game. Like, what? Like, you know what I mean?
That
like,
very fandom got you there.
It's just wild that, and it's like, hey, y'all leave me alone, but tune in on Friday night when I'm, crossing up Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? It's just, there's, I wouldn't call it hypocrisy, but it's just, it's picking and choosing, and no one's gonna let you do that in this moment because of the way everything is.
He's a young man.
Reyes says in the Brigade Bar, it comes with the territory.
It does.
I mean, and Micah, you have a lot of teammates who understand that and understand that there are a lot of pros, but a lot of cons that come with wearing that uniform. And the fact that you have a podcast and the fact that you're in the celebrity game, you think Josh Allen on the Jacksonville Jaguars is getting invites to play in the All-Star Celebrity Game? No. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of it is like the attention that has created this firestorm around you creates a lot of things that you like to do and benefit from.
He's not a bad guy. Micah's a good kid.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
And I don't want this, but this is the arc of maturation. And I think every one of these great athletes that we can speak of, everyone that'll be brought up today, has gone through this moment like, my gosh, just leave me alone, especially after the embarrassment that I've gone through. And he'll come to the realization of where he sits. It's just an unfortunate, and the timing couldn't be better. It's so typical of the Cowboys that they prove the theory over and over. The theory over 3 days is there's a lack of accountability. These stars just do what they want. And then Micah goes and does this and just proves the lowest, most easy assumption of a team, which is correct. Yet again, that's so typical of the Cowboys. Is there a culture problem? Exhibit A today, Micah. It literally just pops in and it fits a narrative that it's an unfortunate thing. Micah's going to realize that he's great with kids. He's got foundations. He understands his place in the sporting world. Dude, it was just an unfortunate time. And as Cowboy fan, we're going through it ourselves too, bruh. As much as you're dealing with fans calling you out, Think about us day to day at the cooler, walking by whatever fan it might be. We deal with it every freaking day because you couldn't live up to it. So, hey, man, sign the autograph and move on. We don't get to sign autographs.
Or be pissed off about it, but like, keep it to yourself, or you know what, text your inner circle, you know what I mean? Complain about it to a teammate or a fellow athlete that understands, be like, this is so crazy that fans do this, you know what I mean? But like, again, the idea that you were just going to incite a public riot behind your cause was a little bit far-fetched here. And I'm with you, like, we all do dumb things when we're young. We all do dumb things even as we mature in age. There's a lot of things that I know I do, and I'm certain you do, that, we look back, we're like, I did that?
That
like, I said that? Like, I thought this? Like, I really, I was kind of buying this? That's a little bit strange. And again, that's what I'm saying. Like, some people are like, oh, he should sign the autograph. I don't even feel that way at all. Like, Micah, you have every right to feel however you want to feel about this, but the decision to take this public to try to shame them or whatever was a little bit, too much here. Like, there's no way you could have benefited from that. And even if your own interests are your image or whatever, like, this was a bad move in a lot of different ways. And again, he really did tweet through it. Like, no, y'all don't understand. Like, this is what's happening. You're not getting it. You know what I mean? Like, just let me convince you. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, maybe by the third tweet, when you didn't have an overwhelming wave of support, you should have realized that you stepped in it a little bit.
Just tweet through it, bro. Just power through it. Hey, if you had to pick an event over this weekend that you could just say goodbye to, figure out what it is. We are going to figure out not the worst, but the best. But to get there, we got rid of the worst. The events that we use to celebrate our favorite sport, whether it be All-Star Weekend in Major League Baseball or All-Pro Weekend or Pro Bowl Weekend in the NFL or anything in between. Name the event that could go as we look forward to the best events as we celebrate our favorite sports. I got one. I think we can go ahead and get rid of what we call this skills challenge. It ain't that big a deal. We're talking about it coming up next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas, with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Somebody's knocking the door. I walk over, and there's Toby Keith. I'm like, hey, Toby Keith. He's like, hey, is Rick James in here? I'm like, yeah. He does like to smoke the weed.
Yes, he does.
Yes. We are having some celebrities, Rick James and Dan Haggerty and
Grizzly Adams?
Grizzly Adams.
Wow. Hello, Grizzly Adams.
The John Clay Wolf Show, every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show, Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon, right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
When was the last time you went to the dentist? Need a new dentist? Hi, Jason Minix here. Go see my dentist at Smile Structure Dentistry and Braces. Smile Structure can handle all your dentistry needs, from general dentistry to oral surgery, orthodontics for the kids, or Invisalign for adults. Mention this ad, get a free exam and x-rays. Veteran owned with 5 San Antonio area locations. Learn more and book an appointment online at smilestructure.com. That's smilestructure.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic. I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel. Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-952-1155. That's 800-952-1155.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hi, it's Jason Minnick. You're listening to the home of the Cowboys, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. It's the Morning Huddle. RJ, Rob. So it looks like you brought it up yesterday that as we chase subscribers, if you're listening now and have not subscribed, pay the tax, do it, please. We're looking for... we have a number that has been brought up of new subscribers by the time we get to the golf tournament on March the 25th. And I believe it's 150 new ones. Is that what it is?
That's correct.
And if we get that,
that's been decided.
What happens? We don't, or we do have to eat.
If we add 150 new subscribers to the SA Sports Star YouTube channel between now and the Friday before the golf tournament, then after our show at the golf tournament, you and I will do the Hot Ones challenge.
Okay.
So,
SA
Sports Star on YouTube. Subscribe, tell a friend, subscribe. We need 100. We have to add 150 starting now, between now and the Friday before the golf tournament.
So we got a month and a half. This is a couple of days.
That's what I'm saying.
Just easy pleasy. How do you do that? You go to our YouTube channel, SA Sports Star. We are the Morning Huddle. Subscribe, like on the daily. Be part of the Noti gang. Put a thumb on it. Anything else I can say that sounds cool?
Maybe we'll talk to the Blitz boys and see if they'll do it for an additional.
You mean Big Fudge and Left Toe, or whatever?
Left shoe.
Left shoe.
I don't know about the toe. But
sorry, Rex Ryan.
Big Fudge and Left shoe. Yeah. We'll see. You know what? I'm gonna say I don't think they're brave enough. You know what I mean?
It would no, it wouldn't be. I'll be real with you. The Hot Ones would put Minix in the hospital. I mean, I say that without doubt. He does not do heat or spicy very well.
How about? Find a way. You know what I mean? What's it for? We're willing. You got to be willing to hang it all out. You know.
No, it's a sum total, Ray. The unsubscribing and resubscribing doesn't do anything. It's a sum total level, and we're at 150. Will get us to that level. So we appreciate the effort.
To unsubscribe and resubscribe.
If you're not cheating,
you're
not trying. Ray, I appreciate it.
You can do one of two things, Ray. You can either tell everybody you know to subscribe, or you can go to like a Best Buy, since Radio Shack doesn't exist, which we talked about a little while ago, and just go to all their devices that are, you know what I mean, like set up there, and just go subscribe from those. Yeah, exactly.
And that's not it's a good idea. And while we would ask you to do that, we don't implore you to do such things. The All-Star Weekend. Well, no, we are, but we're not. But if you did do it, it would be cool. But you shouldn't. But we'd like you to, but you can't. But go ahead and do it. But don't. I hope I'm perfectly clear when you understand the fact that we don't want you to do it, but you should go ahead and go do it. But do it, but don't.
We really don't want to, but you
should. But not really.
Right.
This weekend is all about the league, the game, and what it means in popular society. As that's kind of how these All-Star weekends have become. It's not just an exhibition of the prowess of the players to show off who they are and what they're capable of. It's more about these leagues' place in our society and entertainment and how they intermingle amongst all these different things. And that's why we have these 3-day events that bring in stars from other games like Micah, music, and acting. Tonight is the biggest self-serving NBA plastic chewing gum, it ain't real kind of night that serves its place. But if it was to disappear tonight and never to return, I don't think anybody would wake up this time next year and go, man, I sure do miss that Rising Stars challenge.
I mean, it's look, and I think a good take happens to be mine. So, whatever. But
what I'm trying to do is get to the perfect all-star weekend.
You didn't even allow the take to be born. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just saying I don't totally hate it, but if I have to get rid of one, that's one I'm getting rid of.
No, see, well, I guess so, but a good take is that anything that has been manipulated isn't that good. You know what I mean? Like if it has to have been like toyed with and tinkered with, like it's really not that good. And so I'm gonna go as far as saying, because the question was, what thing from this weekend would you get rid of? So you're saying the Rising Stars Challenge. That's your answer?
Yes, the Rising Stars Challenge. My
answer is the All-Star Game. I don't need the game. The game is largely meaningless.
There's an argument there.
I mean, and if anything's been manipulated with, like I know it's not the case, but we don't need Team Giannis or Team KD or Team LeBron or Team whatever. No, I don't need any of it. You want to, sign everybody as an all-star and put it on their, career resumes and, announce it in the Hall of Fame speeches. And I'm fine with that. But the game itself is like, the only night that is cool to me is tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Exactly. Tomorrow night, because we get to see what we appreciate the most, the prowess, the athleticism, the dunk, the shot, all the things that go into what makes basketball great. Tonight is more of a, hey, let's go sit in the gym and watch some guys run around and kind of go half-ass it, kind of like the All-Star game up until 2 minutes. And now that the Elam ending's gone, we don't even get the crazy possibilities that was. So you're right. And I think when we look across the pantheon, I kind of like the other things during these All-Star weekends. I like the home run derby because it shows off what makes these guys great. And you could see it over and over, and it can get a little monotonous, but it is pretty cool. I like the way that the NFL has gone to, let's show off how ridiculously talented and athletic our guys are. Let's drop a ball from a helicopter and see if somebody can catch it. That's trying to do something like that. You realize it's almost impossible. And then you get to the square off with the races. That's what we enjoy. Even though the dunk contest is long dead, we're not going to turn away from it. We're still going to watch it, and then we're going to bitch about it on Monday, but ain't nobody going, I'm going to turn it off.
Yeah. If you could only watch the dunk contest or the All-Star game, which would you watch?
The dunk contest, because of the possibilities.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
So we could get rid of Sunday. We're going to make our predictions. Look forward to the weekend. What do you want to see and what will we see? And then we'll look forward to the second half of the season. The NBA gumbo is hot, and Dave Campo speaks in that order. That's on Around the Corner on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
In the Bible's creation account, I'm struck by the fact that the humans God put in the garden didn't have any anxiety. One writer defines anxiety as an automatic reaction to a threat, real or imagined. The root meaning of the word anxiety means to choke or to take by the throat. One of the ways we know we are anxious is a tightening feeling in our chest. In that original garden, there was no such thing as death nor any of the lesser evils humans have encountered since that produce anxiety. So one of the essential skills humans must develop in this life is how to deal with anxiety that comes from relationships, families, marriages, health, vocation, and the unexpected, to name a few. One suggestion is to develop the ability to respond rather than react. This calls for reflection that leads to responsible action rather than reactive impulses. So take some time today to reflect on what you've learned from anxious times in the past. This is Mark Absher, the MacArthur Park Church of Christ, with a thought about anxiety. Visit our church online at macarthurchurch.org. The MacArthur Park Church of Christ, connecting God and people.
Join Macy's and UNCF to help students fulfill their potential now during Black History Month.
Throughout February, you can fund scholarships for students at historically Black colleges and universities when you donate online to UNCF. Or round up your Macy's store purchase up to 99 cents and donate the extra change. Give back today, shop Black-owned brands, and find out how we're creating brighter futures for all at Macy's.com/purpose.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose. Mommy. That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
I'm a lawyer for you. I've helped you.
Yes, he has, and many others here in San Antonio. And that's why I'm so glad I get a chance to talk to you today about what happens when you get into an accident.
It's overwhelming for everybody involved. You have this paralysis of what to do next, who to talk to, how do you get medical care, or you're in the hospital and who's going to pay for this? It's this swirl of anxiety, and many times it's even worse than the injury itself. You have to help people through that situation. And I tell every client the same thing. Don't worry. I've got this. I will take care of this. Just worry about your family. Just worry about getting healthy. If I can do that for you and maximize your recovery, you stay in business, you keep clients. And for 30 years, I've kept every client I've ever had. I don't lose clients. I represent their family and friends because that's how seriously I take my job.
A lawyerforus.com. You can find him at 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Jason Thompson, a lawyerforus.com.
Let our team keep your home running comfortable and worry-free. Call on Mr. Electric for all your electrical needs. 210-248-2026. Or get a hold of us online at MrElectric.com and enter your zip code.
License number TECL 34221.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville.
Ahead of the field and throws it down with a right hand.
Your home for the NBA. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, San Antonio Spurs victory. Jeremy Sochan up in Indianapolis for the Rising Stars Challenge tonight. They'll be the sole representatives of the San Antonio Spurs this weekend. Don't forget, you can catch it all live as the weekend progresses right here on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. In college basketball, Texas heads to Houston to take on number 3 ranked Cougars. That's tomorrow.
How good you want to be? From play one to the last play, we fighting. Today's about opportunity and character. We got a chance to come out here and play football. It's a blessing. Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest. Let's go, baby.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here are the guys.
Hey, gather around. We got something to talk about. It's the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa, Natalie attired in a Western All-Star jacket from the 06 era, back in the early aughts. I'm Rob Thompson, his faithful companion, and Easy E, still awake, sitting on the other side of the double pane glass. Only 12 more hours.
No load management here.
Yeah, no load management here.
Minutes restriction either.
But Edwin plays through. We're going to get to the playoffs. He might be done by April, but we'll give him some time off then. This hour, we're looking at the All-Star Weekend. We're going to hear from Dave Campo, who sat in with the Blitz yesterday. He had some things to say about Dan Quinn that I think kind of reinforced some thoughts that most Cowboy fans already had. This weekend is not only All-Star Weekend. We'd like to welcome back to the golf course Tiger Woods as the host of the Genesis Open there in L.A. Had a 72 yesterday, carded a 72, and fought through some back spasms in his brand new clothes to, it's good to see him swinging a club, man. Did you see any of the highlights last night?
I watched all of it.
Oh, good.
And while, it's always rare to see Tiger, no matter the circumstances. Did you see his shank at the very end of his round?
Yeah. Hey, man, I love it. I hate to do it, but I do love it when I see that.
This is a great tournament. Last year, it was one of the elevated events in the tour's efforts
weird
to combat,
schedule,
yeah, and it felt big. I mean, it's Tiger's place, and so that kind of adds to the whole scene.
What's the club they're playing at?
The Riviera.
The Riviera.
Yeah, but I saw Tiger. It's all Cali. He was eating in and out, and like, look, love Tiger. Not here to attack Tiger,
Man,
but like,
we need him.
No, but like he's like, he's like, oh, this is so good. It's not Tiger. You don't have to fake it. I mean, like, I know you're a Cali guy, but like, you don't have to pretend like it's not that good. Nobody's buying it.
Well, I can tell you, through all that we've gone through over the last year in golf, watching, this thing kind of reinvent itself and however manner it's going to be, and the money and the characters involved, man, we needed a steadying force. It's just good to see Tiger back out there.
There's
the sense that everything will be all right as long as Tiger is at some periphery involved. That the game is, at the end of the day, his only care, and he will make sure that everything he does is just to further the greatness of golf.
Good for Tiger. Good for Sunday Red. That is the new brand that he has. You gonna get a cap?
I was kind of down with that sweater he had on. I like that little tiger logo right there on the chest. I think it's pretty cool.
That's the logo.
Yeah,
that's the Sunday Red logo.
It's sharp. They hired the right marketing and logo types. It's cool.
Wow. Now, what would your logo be? What would your Tiger be?
Man, that's a good one. I have no idea. I've been affiliated with, putting together logos is not the easiest thing in the world. And it's an amazing thing to watch things come together and why things are what they are. So I don't have, it's such an easy fallback, but his choice of Tiger, the way that it was shaded like that, I thought was absolutely appropriate, and its location as well. I'm interested to see what his Sunday Red will look like if his back holds up and gets him all the way through to Sunday.
That's true. Wow.
So that'll be going on early, and it'll be going on just about the same time as the All-Star game itself. But the true party starts tonight. It's the opportunity to give the NBA an excuse to showcase the stars that haven't reached the top 30. That's the whole reason we're doing this. Although I would tell you that Wemby is a top 30 player today.
Sure.
Without hesitation, and should be playing on Sunday. And I think anybody you ask would probably say the same. Just don't replace me. But that other or has deserved to get in here. Well, what do you want to see from him tonight?
I don't want to see a crazy amount of effort, if that makes sense, right? No need to, no need to prove a point or anything like that. But I want to see. I want to see the clear, not a clear, because I know it exists. I want to see the clear gap and disparity between him and everybody else.
And these games are weird because in the basketball society, these showcase games are played in very different ways because you've got givers and takers in these games. And the takers are the ones that, if it's on the other side of half court and I got the ball, I'm shooting it. I mean, that's just, I'm here, I'm a star, and I'm going to prove it to everybody there.
The Devin Vassell mindset. Right?
The guys that their entire life, it's their job to go win basketball games, and suddenly we have 5 of them on the court at the same time trying to figure out who gets to take the next shot. And then you've got the givers that allow these guys. Wemby, at his heart and soul, just like LeBron, is a giver, not a taker. And it's very difficult for guys like that to shine in games like this unless you're a taker. Like as soon as I get the ball, I'm dribbling and I'm shooting it. And when I'm open, you better damn throw me the ball. That's what we're going to see tonight. We're going to pull some highlights, but I don't want Wemby doing more than about 3 minutes of this. I don't want you out there. I don't want you to get zaza'd. I don't want any of that to happen. I would much prefer he be in the skills competition.
Well, you've got that.
I know. That's where where I hope that the way that the cameras are structured and the way that we get to watch him move in a basketball environment represents the fact that he's doing it at 7'5". This isn't a 6'3" dude bounce passing into a little circle. This isn't a 6'3" dude. This is a 7'3" dude doing all of these skills. And I hope we can get a feeling for what he's doing, because until you see it, it's hard to even fathom that it's possible for a guy his size to do what he's doing.
I think that effect is starting to happen across NBA fandom. Obviously, the other night, the just insane, just masterpiece of a 3-pointer. That's floating around the gram. Do you call it the gram or IG?
It's IG to me.
Okay. So it's floating around, and the common take associated with it is some version of like, I can't comprehend this, or I've watched this a million times. This looks like 2019 James Harden, except he's 7'5". And I do think that that's what we're gonna kind of that will be what social media is talking about tomorrow. I don't think that we get that effect today. And that's fine. Like I'm not looking for that today. I don't need that today. I don't think you need that today. I don't think we want that today. But tomorrow, I do think the conversation becomes, this dude can move like this. You know what I mean? From the uninformed, the kind of, I wouldn't say casual NBA fan, but casual, Spurs watcher that's a fan of whoever else that is finally getting a shot at, watching him on a regular basis because it's All-Star weekend.
The Skills Challenge is a 3-round competition with 3 teams of 3 players. The team with the most challenge points after 3 rounds will be crowned the champion. You've got Paolo Banchero, Anthony Edwards, and Wembanyama, Tyrese Halliburton, Benedict Mathurin, and Miles Turner for team and the team All-Stars, Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, and Trae Young. Pretty cool. They got a good lineup. Good guys to watch. The 3-point contest, that's something we care about. That's a moniker that you could put on your resume and retire with. We'll have Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, and Donovan Mitchell shooting it out. Our early pick.
I'm going to go Dame.
He needs it.
I know. A rough year. I think it feels like it will relight the Dame train. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not, what if it's Trae? And then we can really dream.
Well,
I'm shifting. I'm going Trae.
He's not shooting, dude.
Yeah, he is.
Is he? Malik, Jalen, Tyrese,
right
Damian, Lauri. Oh, there he is. And Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah. You're not taking Karl Anthony? I like Lauri Markkanen, and I always take the big man. If Dame wins it, he'll be the 8th guy to win multiple 3-point contests. The slam dunk competition. Do you like to see short guys dunk? Is that what sells you? Or is it big power dunk?
So I was at the 06 night. I've talked about that. I'm wearing the jacket. And Nate Robinson won it, and he jumped over Spud Webb. And
short guys.
Cool. Right. But so, like, for a while, I was kind of attached to that. You know what I mean? Because that's what I saw in person. But now I just want a prop. I want you to do something cool. I want to see the cheesiest thing. You want to jump over IKEA? Cool. You want to put a sticker on the backboard? Fine. You want to have somebody hold a GoPro underneath you? By all means. I just want to see something ridiculous. I want to see. Yeah, I want to see the most like stupid possible thing. I want to see you do it. I want to see you blow out a birthday candle or whatever. Like do something that makes me go, never seen that before. That's really all I care about at this point. The size or the height doesn't really matter to me.
The contestants in this one include Jacob Toppin of the Westchester Knicks and the returning champion Matt McClung of the Osceola Magic. He's not appeared in an NBA game yet this season, but if he does win as the returning champion, he'll become the 7th player to win multiple events and the first to have done it without even being on a team either time.
Because of that, what is the legitimate pressure on Jaylen Brown here? If you're if you're Jaylen Brown and I'm Jason Tatum, I'm kind of like, dude, please, I'm not going to be able to help you if you don't pull this off. You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of a tough scene. I wouldn't have done this if I'm Jaylen Brown.
Well, that's the other part of the slam dunk competition is why aren't we seeing the ones we want to see? There should be some kind of financial incentive that we get to see Zion, that we get to see Giannis, that we get to see the guys that are legitimately throwing things down that we want to see. Well, Matt McClung, he's cool, but I can see exactly what Matt McClung's going to do as soon as I go to IG. I'll see 8 guys that are, 5', 6'3" white dudes that are doing ridiculous things that aren't in the league because that's all they can do. And now we could go higher if we really want to do this and we just want to see dunking. There's professional dunkers. Did you know that? There are guys that travel the circuit. That's all they do is dunk. There's a guy named Calignan that will blow your mind. Now, he can't do anything but jump. But he can jump.
Yeah, that's what we want. Like the long drive hitters.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you put a pitching wedge in their hands and they're useless. But you know what I mean? give them a driver, and they, hit ball, go far.
Yeah, get the DeChambeau washouts.
Wow. Do we want to pick things now, or do you want to wait?
We'll close the show with that as we air our grievances. We'll look forward to who we like.
Wow. Well, you asked me to pick my 3-point contest.
I haven't gone to my prize picks to check. Can I prize pick this thing on the? No, I didn't think so.
Wow. Shut down pretty quick.
By the way, I did win a little bit yesterday on prize picks. Download it. Use Alamo. You get $100 to play with.
Use promo code Alamo.
Yeah, you'll know it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Just remember Alamo.
You'll know.
You'll know what I'm talking about. I'll tell you what, I've never had a more fun game. This is not it's kind of paid, but honestly, I love prize picks.
It's great. It adds a little bit of
it does.
You're the first person I've ever known to use the term scratch. Adds a little bit of scratch. You know what I mean?
A little scratch, a little something.
Yeah. So tomorrow will be fun. Tonight will be whatever. Although, are you interested in the celebrity game? Do you know the roster?
I could not. I don't give a crap.
We have to talk about this.
Literally, the celebrity anything annoys. Why would I care if Ice Spice can dribble?
I don't need you to filibuster here. I'm going to tell you the rosters. Okay, so Team Shannon, Shannon Sharp's team. Are you ready? Here we go. 50 Cent.
Can't go left.
Onwell. I don't know if it's AA or AA, but Onwell AA.
Ball hog.
Puerto Rican rapper and singer who also co-owns Puerto Rican basketball team Capitanes de Arecibo. Kai Cenat. Do you know who that is?
No.
Popular Twitch streamer, apparently.
He's twitchy. Got the shakes.
Connor Daly, the NASCAR driver.
Nice 3-pointer, but can't block out. Doesn't hustle.
Walker Hayes. I'm reading this article from SB Nation, and it says most known for his song "Fancy Like" that was featured in Applebee's commercials.
Oh yeah, that's straight up baller right there.
Quincy Isaiah, who played Magic in the HBO show Winning Time.
Oh, I've heard enough. Who the hell cares?
Jewel Lloyd, 5-time All-Star for the Seattle Storm. Micah Parsons is on Team Shannon.
I hope nobody looks at him or asks him anything.
Somebody's like taking a picture of him. Stop!
I'm about to break out. About to go off.
Lily Singh. Okay.
Can't wait, man. I hope she can hit a free throw. I mean, I got some money riding on her. Over under 12.
SIR.
Sir.
And Dylan Wang comprises Team Shannon. So here we go. Team Stephen A. Lil Wayne is a part of it, as is Aya Wilson. As far as the coaching staff.
Well, okay, but say is your plan?
Okay, so, no. So now the roster: Meta World Peace is on
baller.
Team Stephen
All right.
A. Jack Ryan. It says Ryan is a street baller and basketball entertainer who does juggling tricks with basketballs on Instagram. So that's kind of your like dunking thing. You know what I mean? CJ Stroud is on Team Stephen A.
I think Stephen A's team's going to win this thing.
Gianmarco Tamburi. It says Tamburi is an Italian high jumper who is the current gold medalist in the Olympic jump, as well as the European and world outdoor champion in high jump.
Now this will be cool.
Adam Blackstone, who is a musical director and was named the director for Rihanna's Oscars performance.
Well, can't wait to see if this guy can play.
Natasha Cloud from the Phoenix Mercury.
Well, she can.
Jennifer Hudson. All right. Everybody knows Jennifer Hudson. Tristan Jass. AJ McLean. Oh, this is AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
Oh, good.
And Kwame Onwuachi, a Nigerian-American chef and author of the book Notes from a Young Black Chef.
And, I was just thinking when I was at his restaurant, I know he can cook, but can he hit the corner three? If he can, now we're talking a restaurant that I will eat at.
Wow. I wonder if there are odds on this. Let me see.
The odds of me not watching.
No, there's
upwards of 100%. There's no. If you got money laid on the all-star celebrity game,
there have got to be
on whether sir or her is capable. We've got a whole lot of other issues.
Hang on, I'm looking because I have to know. The Rising Stars tournament, by the way, Team Powell plus 120. They're the favorites. They
got Victor. He was the number one pick, I've been told.
I don't see any odds for this.
Thank God. Thank God there's no odds for this. And if you don't have anything to keep you attached
AJ from
to the screen.
Backstreet Boys, Rob. You are my fire. What if you just broke it into songs?
I hope they do. That would be enough to keep you away.
What if AJ from the Backstreet Boys was like, "Hey, Micah, my kid's a big fan. Will you sign this for him?" No!
Step off.
Pop rocks, man.
We're popping rocks all the way to Dave Campo. Dave sat in yesterday with the Blitz, and he was asked about Dan Quinn and what he saw from his high and mighty tower there in Jacksonville at the Dallas Cowboys. The relationship Dan Quinn had with his defense, the entire the theory, the idea, the working theory that the problem with the Cowboys is accountability. We're going to look at that very closely through Dave Campo's eyes. I look forward to a full sporting weekend. Let's see. I got a question for you as we go to break, and this is out of nowhere.
Fine.
Because this is really, you got an all-star game on Sunday. You've got you got the Genesis going on this weekend, and it's really just the beginning of the PGA season.
Okay.
So maybe it's time to go out this weekend and do something with a fan, but do something sporting. And if you had to pick batting cages, laser tag, putt-putt golf, bowling, or we'll just say go-karts, K1, whatever it might be, or top golf. You have
my
6
family
choices.
or like
I'm just
arbitrary
asking folks, in the modern world, you have 6 choices to take the fam to do something kind of competitive. Money's not the object. What do you pick? Think about it.
It's top golf.
Top golf's fun. Everybody can do it. K1 is a thrill ride, but the laser tag's pretty nuts.
But K1, you're separated. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in your own cart. You know what I mean? Like so, like anything cool, you're screaming, and it's just you experiencing it. Like top golf, something cool happens, and you can turn around and high five somebody.
Batting cages do the same thing. Batting cages, there's nothing more fulfilling. There is nothing more fulfilling than when you get into a rhythm in a batting cage, when things are clicking.
Cages are so old. It's not.
There's nothing
not
feels
2004
better
anymore, Rob. I mean, move on from the batting cage.
Get out of your analog world and play some digital games. Maybe we should include the NBA Jam of 2007. Maybe that should be the game. NBA Street is by far the best that they ever did. Hey, coming back, we'll talk that and many other sporting events. Look at RJ very closely. He's wearing a uniform from a game, much like we're going to watch this weekend. If you can't see him, I'll tell you how. Go to SA Sports Star on your YouTube feed. You'll find us. We are the Morning Huddle. Make sure you have subscribed. There's a very hot contest riding on this. We need a few today. Coming back, we're talking with Dave Campo. He was on the Blitz yesterday, and he has some thoughts on Dan Quinn's exit from the Dallas Cowboys. That's next, right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, it's going to be a nice, winter weekend. The weather's going to be hospitable for some grilling. Head over to Tri-County Meat Market, grab some meat for the grill. I'll tell you what, this is one of those weekends you walk in, you fill your bag with 5 for $25, because that's what you do every time you walk into Tri-County. It's the best deal in San Antonio, and that might be enough for you to put on the grill. Or you might be deciding, let's celebrate the beginning of what is the basketball world as we head toward March Madness and all that. But watch a lot of hoops. I'll put something easy on the grill. I'm going to go over to the prepared side and get a couple of those stuffed chicken breasts. One of them might feed 4 or 5 people. I'm kidding you, but those things are huge. You get an avocado bomb, you will pray about it when it's done because it is that good. And that's the kind of thing you can do on a good Saturday. But long term, I want you to ask them about their boxes, their frozen boxes, because there's nothing better than having the meat on hand. And Tri-County has curated several different boxes of frozen meat appropriate to you. Some of them have, lots of their great ground meat and hot dogs and hamburgers and things that you do on the regular. But for your grillers that want to make sure you always have the best steak on hand, go get a frozen box from Tri-County. They are curated, they're priced appropriately, and they're great to throw in that freezer. And maybe you have a little bit of space after the hunting season, want to throw some real meat in there. Head over to Tri-County, either one of those locations. Make sure you ask them about their freezer boxes. It's economic, yes, for sure, but it's nice to have the very best on hand when you're ready for a great steak or a great cut of meat. Head over to either one of those Tri-Counties over on Hebner, out on Ralph Fair. A great meal always starts from great meat at Tri-County Meat Market. Head over there today, and I know you're going to be thanking me later.
The boys are back from Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
You heard the big game on Sunday, and the boys made it back thanks to AA Best Bail Bonds and presented by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Synergenics. Next year, it's off to the Big Easy on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended silver unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the silver unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
2 seconds left on the clock, third field goal range, and it looks like he's going to go with a 5-iron. No, wait. The quarterback is skating back on the ice. He's talking with his caddy. They're pulling the goalie. He skates off the fairway as the kicker lines up his putt. It's a breakaway! They bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Touchdown savings, birdie goal!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Rob Thompson. I'm here with my brother, Jason, a practicing attorney in San Antonio for 30 years. Jason, what does that mean?
What it means is I've been representing people and families here in San Antonio injured in auto, truck, motorcycle collisions, serious injury, death accidents, taking those families and helping them through some of the worst times of their life. I've been practicing law in San Antonio for so long. I remember when the Cowboys were champions.
Seriously.
And a great staff that handles kind of the blocking and tackling of what it takes to represent clients. There are so many phone calls that need to be made, so many connections you have to have between insurance companies, physicians, opposing lawyers, relationships that you build over 30 years with adjusters, with insurance companies, with defense attorneys, with local judges. When I represent a client, they know that I'm lending my name, my reputation built on 30 years of experience to that client to get them justice.
It's Jason Thompson, alawyer4us.com. Call him at 210-900-0400, alawyer4us.com.
Good morning, everybody. Jason Minix here from The Blitz, starting at 2 o'clock today. We are live at the Rue Pub. It's a Friday, great way to start the weekend. And, of course, we've got the Rising Stars Challenge as the NBA has hit the All-Star Weekend. Plus, we'll talk Cowboys and Mike Zimmer with John Machota from The Athletic at 5:15. Rob, RJ, you boys have a great weekend.
I endeavor to do just that. RJ, you're going to have yourself a fine weekend. We got a lot to do beforehand. Would your weekend include a rousing game of putt-putt? Or the most modern laser tag game you could find? Or paintball? Or
I got to be
see, we can go analog or digital. You can do paintball and go-karts, or you could do trampoline park and laser tag.
I got to be honest with you. Okay. Laser tag kind of stinks.
It does. I've never played a decent laser tag game. They all suck.
It's not.
They look like they're going to be
fun
cool.
if you because your premise was like you're going with the family.
Yeah.
Laser tag's fun if you've got like somebody's turning 14 and like
Aren't we
30
all?
of the friends are there. You know what I mean? But like a family of 4 going to play laser tag, like doesn't hit as hard.
That's true.
So laser tag is out. I think the best options here are bowling. Kind of a familial sort of thing, except when you eat, you go from your hands and the ball to like on the nachos. I mean, like that's kind of
for a clean freak like you. It's a difficult outing, I know.
Well, I mean, spoken like someone who just sits in their filth for 8 hours.
I'm sitting in filth right now.
Top Golf, I think, is the best answer. Now, Top Golf and bowling involves some element of technology, and it sounds like you want some sort of form of physical exercise.
No.
If you allow me, let me throw out
Why are you
2 more.
discounting putt-putt? It's a fun game for all. Everyone can compete.
My thing about putt-putt is we're not at that time of year. Like you got to be wearing flip-flops to go putt-putt. You know what I mean? Like it's not quite.
And it has to be outdoor.
Warm.
Indoor putt-putt don't count.
Yeah, you got to be wearing like the shortest shorts you own.
It has to be
I know you got
hot.
some chubbies.
Oh, there's jokes there.
And flip-flops. You know what I mean? Maybe like a Hawaiian button-up shirt. You know what I mean? That's the official.
You're describing me at a golf course at Cool Crest.
So
right now,
my 2 additional nominees, because I think go-kart racing is no thanks. The go-kart
when was
racing
the last time you were on a go-kart? Seriously.
My friend Brandon Broden had a go-kart, and we rode around his neighborhood a lot.
I hadn't been on a go-kart since the ones that were like lawnmower engines strapped onto some rebar. You can legit. First of all, you got those indoor K1 types that are all electric that have torque beyond belief. But you can find some out. There's one here in San Antonio that I have been to that it'll pull your cheeks back, man. Those things go fast.
As I add 2 potential ideas here. One would be a riveting board game. There's nothing like family board game night.
Oh, RJ, you just ruined it.
What? Family board game is
There's
nice.
no such thing as riveting board game.
Dude,
there's board games.
I'm sorry
and
that you're
there's
relegating
riveting.
your life to just. There are really fancy board games that you can get into here.
Okay.
How about if not a board game? Hear me out. How about you take the fam to like an escape room? Would you ever do that?
I have done that.
So what about that?
Here's the problem with the escape room, which it's a blast. But to truly enjoy the escape room, you either have to be highly intoxicated or completely sober. There's no in between. It's either a giggle fest, how we got to figure it out, or it's an all-in, I am Sherlock Holmes and I'm figuring this crap out. It's one or the other. If you're in there just kind of goofing around, it gets frustrating.
So I think since you hated the board game thing, what do you feel about like the whole family sits down on the Nintendo Switch and plays Super Mario?
Well, there was a time when the Wii came out that you could have that family video game night where you could do the tennis and the golf, and we did that while it was hot and it was fun.
Yeah. What's your choice? Since you're
Bob
so
Martin has
judgmental
put it out
and
there.
pushy.
The perfect place growing up was the Castle Golf and Games because you got to do it all.
I know, but what is your choice tonight?
Tonight, if I had the fam, but I think I'm kind of jonesing for summer. Putt-putt just sounded really interesting to me, and I see that next week.
We're not there.
We're going to warm up.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're not there this weekend, so I'm going to have to choose something indoor. I'm K1. I would go drive go-karts. I'd go drive.
Can't experience that together.
Speeding. I'd go put on a helmet and smell the burnt rubber and do that.
The best answer is Top Golf. That's why it was my first.
And
it checks all the boxes.
Do you bring your own clubs to Top Golf?
I've done
Are
that
you
before.
that guy? Please tell me you're not.
I've done it before, and I can feel the judgment when I do.
Well, you should.
So now I don't, but I do bring a glove. Because I can't. It's a different game with that.
Is it just kind of half tucked into your back pocket so you see the fingers flapping as you walk by?
I mean, that's how I wear the glove. I mean,
okay.
No, like
do you have
mean,
a T behind your ear? Like you might.
What you're saying, you realize the equivalent of what you're asking is like, oh, do you tie your shoes? What a loser! Like that's how
if you're walking into Topgolf with your glove hanging out of your pocket and your clubs,
dude, I'm sorry that's the way this works. I mean, what do you want me to do? Hide it? Oh no. I'm so worried that everyone's gonna think I golf outside of Topgolf. What a cardinal sin.
Have you ever owned your own bowling ball?
Who golfs when they're not at Topgolf?
Have you ever owned your own bowling ball?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, I'm not. If you do, then you have every right to take your bowling ball in, but you better be rolling strikes. You pull out a bag and you're rolling splits and all the other mess like I am. Put the ball away.
Have you ever owned a bowling ball?
No, I wish I had. I would have bowled a whole lot more if I'd had a cool bowling ball, like the one like they're clear with a skull inside of it. Those are so badass. I always thought those were so badass.
I'm so disappointed that you said no, because I kind of pictured you like once upon a time being like, like Fred and Barney going down to the local league. You know what I mean?
Well, there
like
was a time when I was in school, especially in Lubbock. A lot of the teams we bowled a lot. I don't know why.
Wow.
The football team bowled a lot, and we kind of hang out with some of those guys. So I did a lot of bowling in Lubbock.
So what's a bigger red flag in your mind? This isn't related to family activities right now, but just since we're here, taking your own bowling ball and not living up to the hype. I guess taking a glove to Topgolf or taking a baseball glove to a game.
No, that's symbolic. You might catch a fly. You got to take a glove. That's a whole other thing.
The kid.
Don't try to compare taking a glove to a baseball.
Dude,
Would you take your own putter to a putt?
Robert's rules of order here.
Okay, Robert's rule of order is use the Topgolf clubs. Don't bring your own. You're playing around. You're not playing a game. If you bring your own ball, you better roll 200 or better. There are rules here. And if you show up to a putt course and you bring your own putter, I'm throwing you out.
Nobody does that.
I'm beating your ass and I'm throwing you out.
Nobody does that. Nobody shows up to putt with their own. What about if somebody showed up to a go-kart thing with their own driving gloves? Would you mock them?
I would judge them heavily, yes.
What if they had their own helmet? They thought they were Max Verstappen.
I would judge, especially if they put on a Red Bull helmet. I'm going to judge you heavily. If you show up to a go-kart track in a flame retardant suit, you got the whole thing in a Hans device, you're in the wrong spot, bro. You've chosen poorly. You need to head back over to Castle Golf and Games and get in the dumbest invention of all time, the bumper boat. That's where you need to be. Put on that flame retardant gear and go roll around in an inner tube with a motor attached to the back. In pink water. What a weird idea that was. That's why all of us that went to Castle Golf and Games survived COVID. We floated around in that weird pink bumper boat water for a night.
So are you going to go-kart racing this weekend?
I'm talking myself into it as we speak. Here's the problem, though. I'm a guy, I'm too big for most of the good go-karts. It's a little guy's thing. And when I do get in there, I feel like I'm Shaq at a Datsun.
Right.
Notice I said Datsun. That's an old school reference.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. But that's why go-kart racing isn't the best answer. Topgolf is the answer. What's your problem with Topgolf?
I have no problem except for those guys that show up with gloves in their pockets and they're in bag of
What
clubs.
is the problem with showing up?
I'm going to work on my 5-iron today and see if I can hit to the pink flag.
Well, there's logic in that. What are you talking about? Like, it's a climate-controlled driving range where you can eat and drink.
Most of the chips I throw up are off of a ledge, off of about a 40-foot ledge. Most of my drives are off of this 40-foot canyon. And so,
what if you can get a bay on the first floor? But they're not as cool.
Bottom floor guys, that sucks.
Yeah.
When you're out on the bottom and the balls are kind of trickling down in front of you. No, you don't. You want to hit from the top floor and you want to get it out of the park with their club.
I'm not against any of that, but again, I think a glove is fair game because that's part.
Yeah, you're right.
That's part. Like what you're saying is like, I'm going to come to the radio show, but I don't want to use my own headphones. That's exactly what you're saying.
Well, what you're telling me is your hands are so delicate, you can't handle a couple of swings at
It's
Topgolf.
a skill. It's
your
a
hands
skill
are so soft and
amplifier. What are you
ladyish.
talking about? Your hands are delicate.
You got delicate lady hands.
Rob, let's go.
It's okay.
Let's go play basketball, but you can't wear sneakers, because your feet are too sensitive. You got to wear your slippers.
Just keep your lady hands in your pockets. We'll be right back. We're going to hear from Dave Campo and talk accountability and whether they should take clubs to Topgolf. Hold on. We got so much to do in so little time because we just wasted a bunch of it. You're on 94.1, and this is the Morning Huddle.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Stars Spring Golf Classic is set Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas with plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 in a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
So how did you stumble across our show?
So, Saturday mornings when I'm heading to one of my meetings, I put on the radio and I listen to...
This is what you don't want to be. You don't want to be a drunk.
Right. You don't want to become like John Clay Wolf. So go to a meeting.
I inspire you to go to AA.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Take steps to live a more sustainable lifestyle by investing in plastic-free food storage containers like silicone sandwich bags or beeswax wraps, which can replace the difficult-to-recycle single-use plastic wrap. And while we all do our part, Charmin is working hard to make a difference by regrowing 2 trees for every tree used. We all go, why not enjoy the go with Charmin? Whether it's the irresistible cushiony softness of Charmin Ultra Soft or the superior strength and absorbency of Charmin Ultra Strong, either way, you can't go wrong.
This year, wouldn't it be great to stop dealing with thin, brittle, shedding hair and instead have the thick, healthy, gorgeous hair you've always wanted? Well, now you can by using Hair Volume from New Nordic. Hair Volume is the all-natural solution trusted by millions of women around the world to say goodbye to thin, brittle, shedding hair. Look for Hair Volume at your local Walgreens and CVS or online at Amazon.com or NewNordicUSA.com. Go to NewNordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Hair Volume at your local Walgreens or CVS.
No amount of money can make up for a life-changing injury. I'm George Salinas, and at George Salinas Injury Lawyers, our team of attorneys will fight to get you the maximum compensation because we prepare and we care. So if you've been injured in an accident, get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it, between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt, yeah!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Yeah!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, gather around. It's the Morning Huddle. Act appropriately. He's RJ Ochoa. He brings the driver to Topgolf.
I hope that tonight when you go to sleep, you fall into the deepest slumber possible. And I hope that you wake up and have to pee and just stub your toe. And it not only is a mild level of pain, but that it wakes you up and that you can't fall back asleep.
I've gone through
That's
rougher.
what I hope happens to you.
I've gone through worse.
Yeah, I'm not trying to wish the worst thing upon you. I'm just trying to wish something highly annoying.
Fred Cassar says, I had a bowling ball and it was black with a drawing of a screw, and then The letter U. See, that's if you roll into a bowling alley with that, you better be rolling 200, man. That's you. Anything less, and you're messing with the Jesus. And those who know that reference, I cheer you. Dave Campo was on the Blitz yesterday, and he reinforced what has become the idea du jour about the Dallas Cowboys problems. The reason behind most of the issues ain't talent, ain't coaching, ain't clock management. It's accountability amongst players, amongst themselves, to the team, and to their coaches. This is Campo talking about Dan Quinn and his relationship with the team and how things went south and what Zimmer will bring to the table when he arrives.
Well, first of all, from a culture standpoint, I'll just say one thing this way. I know Dan Quinn very well. I was not in the office in the building. I'm here in Jacksonville, so I saw a bunch of the games. I saw that game. I'm going a little bit on some hearsay, but I think the one thing about Dan is he's a fine gentleman, and he's smart, and his scheme was okay, but he was a little bit too buddy-buddy, I think, with the players, and that's part of it. You can't have a lot of accountability if you don't stand a little bit above of the people that you're trying to get to be accountable. But more so than
that was Dave Campo yesterday live with the Blitz boys, talking about the exit of DQ and the system that he brought and the relationship with his players and the differences that Zimmer's going to bring, who, by the way, is not a jerk. He'll be the first to tell you. It's all true. I think that, and if you're winning, you can get by with the system that Dan Quinn plays. And when they were effective, it's not just winning football, it is devastating football. When Dan Quinn's defense is doing Dan Quinn things, that's as fun a defense as there is. Turnovers and big hits and plays in space and the kind of things that you love watching on Sundays, but it's also how you lose in playoff games. He brought it up. They were soft. They were small.
I mean, I don't know that they were soft.
Well, soft is not the term. Soft in the middle is what I meant.
Right. They were just physically outmatched.
Right.
And I mean, that was somewhat predictable, and everybody was kind of worried about that, right? Everybody's worried about Aaron Jones running all over them.
Let me ask you a question as we talk. What's the bigger concern for you? The endemic lack of accountability, which appears to be the case, or just the lack of manpower to do what is required?
I don't want to fall into the Cowboys have an accountability trope that the world is in, but it's probably that. I mean, it's probably, we didn't talk about this, but the reality of Super Bowl week is there's so much happening. Last week a week ago yesterday, DeMarcus Lawrence was on the red carpet for NFL honors and was asked, what happened, because duh. And he said, we were burned out. What? I would just, I know it's not practical or possible. I would just appreciate so much if someone was like, dude, we just sucked. And that really bothers me. And I hate that. And I wish I could do anything to change it, but we can't. And it's going to be something that, we just have to eat this whole off season. But we were tired. We were burned out. We weren't prepared. We weren't this, we weren't that. Maybe you just sucked. Maybe they were better than you. I know that that's a really difficult thing to wrap your mind around, that maybe you weren't the biggest, baddest, most badass dudes to ever walk the earth, hot boys and co. But maybe you just got your ass handed to you because you were not good enough. And I would like to see somebody take some level, don't even call it accountability, call it responsibility. And that's where that's why I was so upset with Mike McCarthy's postseason press conference. We're in championship culture and all this crap. How about just acknowledging
we have established a championship program? It's just not the real championship yet.
How about acknowledging that you got worked and you weren't even close? You had no business being there, and you can toss your NFC East championship caps and T-shirts into the fires and the flames of the last 30 years.
If it is the lack of accountability, which obviously is a problem, can Zimmer change it? Can one guy who shows up for and we'll use the obvious arguments first, the lame duck who ain't gonna be here long, the guy that's part of a string that we know is over. Can he bring enough to the table for guys to even listen to him?
Rob, okay. You ever wander around the desert?
Well, not on purpose, but
I mean, has anybody wandering around the desert ever in the history of anything just randomly stumbled upon water or food, right? Like, has it ever just been sitting there, right? Like, man, Rob, you were looking for me.
And here you are.
Not only am I here, I'm under shade, and there's a shower here, and you get a fresh set of clothes, and actually even a cot, and an air conditioned room for you to sleep in. Has that ever happened to anyone who's just been moseying around the desert? No. And so the presentation here, and I've tried to come around a little bit on the Mike Zimmer thing. The presentation here is, guys, we're in the desert. We have no clue what we're doing. We're stuck. We're wandering. We're aimless. It's almost 30 years at this point in time. But dude, this guy was sitting right here, and he's the answer. Like, this is exactly what we've been looking for. I mean, consider that one day after Mike Zimmer's press conference where he said, today, these days, players have social media, blah, blah, blah. One day after he said that, Micah Parsons went on a diatribe on Twitter complaining about people asking him for his autograph in an airport. And again, you have some legitimate ground to stand on here, Micah, but doing it this way is not understanding the overall picture. One day, I mean, Rome wasn't built in one, so I don't expect Mike Zimmer to have come in and completely and totally fixed everything. But I have a hard time seeing how everything is just going to magically be fixed because Mike Zimmer is more prepared to yell at them than Dan Quinn was.
Well, he's not a jerk. He's not just going to be yelling for no reason. There's 3 or 4 people that are happy that he's got this job. They even reached out. They used their devices and texted him. They commented on his podcast.
Yeah, I bet you Mike was like, Micah, you have me on yours. I'll have you on mine. You know what I mean?
Little something. And he's going to have to, Micah, how do you deal with your fans? Because you're such a famous podcaster. And I, too, am dealing with the same issues, Mike Zimmer. Me and several other has-been coaches have been talking. One, Marvin Lewis and I.
Like that.
We're in airports, and I got kids chasing us. How do you deal with it, Micah? And Michael says, sometimes I'm about to have to break one off on those guys. So you're going to have to tell them to back off.
I mean, I'll ask you the same question. I clearly don't. Do you believe that this is the magic elixir?
No,
the
it's
Cowboys
not.
have found the fountain of life.
The best, I think, yesterday, RJ, this is where I'm at. The Cowboys next year are my foster pet. I'm gonna feed them. I'm gonna take care of them. But I ain't gonna long-term attach myself to this team because it's over. It's over. It's going to be a long, painful goodbye that's going to be peppered with some wonderful moments. Zimmer's going to do an adequate job. Not a great job, not a terrible job. He's going to be Mike Zimmer. And the Cowboys are going to be in the middle of stuff. They're going to do something stupid to lose a game. And they're also going to do something miraculous to win 1 or 2. And then all of this will be done. So I'm going to take care of this foster pet. I'm going to feed it, and I'm going to, keep it alive and keep it healthy, knowing full well that in 11 months, this dog will be gone.
I think a more apt analogy is you just want a goldfish at the carnival.
No, this is not. I'm not going to just put it up on a counter and hope it stays alive. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay it attention. Wow. But I'm just not going to buy a dish with his name on it. It's his collar won't have his name. It'll just say Foster.
Say dog.
Dog.
Hey, dog.
That's what it'll be. And I'm not going to buy the refrigerated food. You're going to get the old school food. It's going to crunch when you eat it. That's what it's going to be. I'll be back in a year, though. I'll get my new puppy in a year with my new coach and my new quarterback and my new ideas. Then you'll get me back.
You'll buy the bed. You'll set up the food. You'll set up the food subscription to where it comes like every month and things like that. Dude, I mean, I'm pessimistic. I have a hard time believing how, and there are legitimate things to like about Mike Zimmer. We've talked about them. We've had some people who have informed us. Shout out to Arif Hassan, who joined us earlier this week. If you want to hear that conversation, you should go listen to it. Go to our YouTube channel, SA Sports Star. And by the way, subscribe, like the video, pay the like tax, turn on notifications. But it's just, look, this is the 4th week, 5th week of the offseason. And like, when have they just chilled out? You know what I mean? Like it would be nice,
just
guys.
Go away.
Yeah, to not hear from you for a while. It would be really nice to not have anybody do anything dumb or stupid or Rex Ryan related or anything of the sort. Just shut up and go away for a week. Give us a week away from this chaos and this madness and this hysteria. Let us calm down because you are so obsessed with everything that you've taken it all away from us.
Hey, on the other side, we got something to talk about with Caitlin Clark. Where does she land in the pantheon of great college stars? Because she has reached a level at which, as we sit today, she's a bigger star in this world than Pat Mahomes. Now, there's long-term fame, and Pat owns that. But today, the Q rating is all Caitlin, because last night, not only did she set the record, she did it in a way that you set records. Look back in the past. Think of the guys, the girls, the ladies, the people, the teams that not only did it, but did it in ridiculous, remarkable ways. The gold medal, the world record at the Olympics, the Usain Bolt, it's all now or nothing, and it happened. Caitlin last night, it's coming, the first 8 and a deep 3 to set the record. Let's figure out where she lands in the pantheon, because she set the ladies' scoring record. Now, she doesn't own it outright because there was some time back in the 70s and 80s when they weren't keeping stats, and there was a lady that played at Kansas that got some numbers. But here's the one to put what Caitlin did into context. She's only 99 points away from Pete Maravich. That might be the best comparison of them all.
Yeah, I mean, that's going down. We're yelling timber. I guess that makes me Pitbull and makes you Kesha. But yeah, I bet that's
speaking of sitting in your own filth,
likened to Kesha. So I have a take on what this moment was, because the moment was amazing. Like that, the way she did it. I know that it wasn't the record-setting moment for him, but this was equivalent. I think you'll agree with this, to the men's relay in Beijing in 2008, when the United States beat France to keep Michael Phelps's chase alive. This was literally in that kind of breath of epicness and amazingness. And the only thing that would have made that trump this is if that had been the record-setting gold medal. It obviously wasn't, but obviously it was necessary again for the whole, the endeavor to work, which it did. But it was of that cut. True or false?
At the minimum, yes. It's so rare that we get that opportunity to see it done in ways that made it. It would have been special without the record. Just the feat itself, the shot that she hit was so apropos to who she is and what she's about.
There's such a insane quality of among elite athletes that is like, oh, I need to put on a show. Okay, it's like, okay, done. You know what I mean? Like it's not a question. It's not a conversation. It's simply a switch that can be flipped. That's wild. Like, is there anything anything in life that you are like, oh, I want to do this, I'll do it completely and totally successfully on the first try?
I can do it, and I'll call it a radio show. We're going to continue this radio show next, and let's put it in perspective. What Caitlin has done and what she is doing. What are the comparisons in the college football world? Is it Johnny Football? Is it Tim Tebow? I've heard comparisons go all the way back to Brian Bosworth. What does she mean to college sports, and how desperate are we to have this? Not about NIL, not about transfer. She's been in one place for a long time and has made it all the way here. Caitlin Clark and her greatness, amongst other greats, as the NBA heads to Indianapolis to celebrate all things basketball. Caitlin Clark has put it front and center. We're talking about it next. We're so glad you're with us. This is the Morning Huddle. He's RJ. I'm Rob. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Now, we're on the precipice of a phenomenal weekend that will involve a variety of different sports that are going to all be on at the same time. So unless you're like RJ and got some kind of fancy contraption where you can watch 4 games at once, I recommend you head over to Twin Peaks. Find a locale anyway, because every place you sit down in a Twin Peaks, well, it's a man cave. You know why? Because there are TVs all around you tuned to exactly what you want to watch. So maybe you want to watch the final round of the Genesis and at the same time watch the All-Star game. Maybe Saturday night you want to watch some All-Star festivities, but you want to watch some UFC as well. That's why you go to Twin Peaks, because not only do you get that, but you get scratch-made food coming out of the kitchen. You get all the specials and the appropriate things going on every night and every day. Lunch hour specials, happy hour specials, both early and late. The party that's going on today, I'm talking about Bourbon Brews and Brews. It's legendary, and it's happening again tonight. Any one of the 4 locations, head over and have yourself some of the finest bourbons you can find anywhere in the world. And trust me, they know how to serve a good bourbon. I'm talking about on top of an icy ball. Yeah, I'm talking about how you do it. You can pair that with a locally made brew, or go get something scratch out of the kitchen, because that's what they're bringing. That's why you go to Twin Peaks. Friends of like mine, eating fine eats, drinking icy cold 29-degree cold brews, celebrating with appropriate parties. We go there for those reasons. I'll tell you mine. It's those scenic views.
NBA All-Star Weekend on ESPN Radio. From the Rising Stars tonight to All-Star Saturday night, including the Skills Challenge, the three-point and slam dunk contest. Then on Sunday, the 73rd NBA All-Star Game, the NBA's All-Star Weekend. This weekend on ESPN Radio. Presented by Indeed.
Tonight at 8 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and ESPN 1250.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9313. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9313. That's 800-575-9313. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
If you're facing $10,000, $20,000, or even $30,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt, there are programs available that can consolidate those debts into one single reduced monthly payment you can afford if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief is on a mission to help you become debt-free in just 24 to 48 months. They've helped over 300,000 qualified consumers. Hardworking Americans just like you pay off more than $1 billion in debt, earning them an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Accredited Debt Relief will tailor the program to fit your specific budget and financial situation. So call Accredited Debt Relief now for your free no-obligation savings estimate and let them help you take control of your financial destiny.
Call 800-249-8866. 800-249-8866. That's 800-249-8866. 800-249-8866. Program and services not available in all states.
What's wrong with Rick? He's kind of spacey today.
That's Rick's identical twin, Scott. He's not used to answering to Rick.
What's going on?
Rick asked me to keep it secret, but he asked his twin to cover his shift so he could go to Diamonds Direct to shop.
But this is a jewelry store.
Yeah, I know, but the prices and selection are so much better at Diamonds Direct. Rick doesn't want the boss to get suspicious, so Scott's here in case the boss sees Rick at Diamonds Direct.
But that would mean that the boss is at Diamonds Direct too?
Yeah, we have a lot of secrets.
You never know who you'll run into at Diamonds Direct. With unbeatable direct importer prices, the highest quality diamonds, the most sought-after designer rings, the best customer service, the strongest guarantees in the industry. It's just a no-brainer.
You think if Scott had a mustache, would he look like me?
No.
Go where everyone else goes. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Well, what if I shaved?
Still no.
For store hours, directions, and more, go to diamondsdirect.com.
When you think San Antonio sports, think 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Cowboys. KTFM Floresville and SASportsStar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the NBA, it's All-Star Weekend. The Spurs will send 2 representatives to the Rising Stars and the Skills Challenge, which will go off tonight. Victor Wembanyama will participate in both. Jeremy Sochan will also participate in the the Rising Star Challenge. Along with a busy basketball weekend, the University of Texas headed to Houston to take on the Cougars on tomorrow at noon.
Wemby goes behind the back here. Oh!
Oh, little sidestep and a jam by Wembenyama.
Oh, it's knocked away by Wembenyama.
This is the Morning Huddle on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star with Rob Thompson and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, RJ Ochoa. Now, here's Rob and RJ.
Hey, gather around. There's things to discuss. It's the Morning Huddle. He's RJ Ochoa. I'm Rob Thompson. Thank you so much for sitting in with us, no matter how you're doing it. If you're doing the old analog way, driving around, we're glad you're there. If you got your device up and popping, I'm glad you're listening. But if you're listening on your device, why aren't you watching? Go to our YouTube channel. We are the Morning Huddle on SA Sports Star, and you can watch us live there. We are always chasing brand new converts. So press the appropriate buttons, subscribe to the appropriate things, and good things will happen to you in many different ways.
We have a bit of an update here, Rob.
I'm all about dating up.
So we said that if we picked up 150 new subscribers on the YouTube channel between now and the Friday before the golf tournament, all right, so we got about 5 weeks for that.
That's going to happen.
That if that happens, excuse me, you and I will do the Hot Ones challenge after our show at the golf tournament, and we'll record it, and it'll be a YouTube exclusive. So we'll throw that video up.
So are we going to do chips the official way? Are we going to do wings? How do you want to do this?
The wings is kind of difficult, but I feel like for anyone who's unaware, Hot Ones is a show, kind of a podcast, but a show really.
It's become a show, yeah.
That is a talk show that celebrities are interviewed as they eat wings that increase in hotness. There are 10 wings, and I think there's 10.
Yeah.
And they get really hot, obviously. And it makes the show interesting because you get to see the celebrities broken down and answering questions when their inhibitions are lowered, seemingly.
In agony, really.
Right. So they sell the sauces. So you're right. We could just put the sauces on like chips or something.
Are we going to do the 23 version? Are we going to go back other years? Because you can. I mean, I know there's other packs.
The current version, current season.
The 23, the latest.
Yeah. So we could do chips. That we'll do the sauces. You know what I'm saying? But chips might be better than wings because
Well, I mean, the wings provide a little bit of cover.
I mean, you're the one who brought up the chips. I mean,
I was trying to figure out how we were going to do it.
Well, I mean, we're open to ideas, but we have to hit the subscribers first in order for
we're well on our way. So if you're just tuning in and you have not done so, please do.
We've picked up 9 this morning. So yeah, starting to get a little bit of scared that this is going to happen. And all the more reason, by the way, if it does happen, to come to the golf tournament because we'll be doing it there.
Yes.
Nobody ever said, Rob, that you didn't put your life on the line.
No, I sacrificed my body for the team. Always have. When you think Caitlin Clark, my first thought is, and it's not the best comparison because she's famous for different reasons, but the attitude is the same. And I remember back to the Johnny football run when Manziel was first getting that run, and then the year that he came back and the circus that followed him and the pressure that was on. Caitlin has handled the pressure far better, but I think that the effect of the way they play the game is the same. That there was an excitement level with Johnny because he just did things in ways that were just exciting. It was just cool to watch. And Caitlin kind of is in that vein. It's not that she's doing it. She does it in such spectacular ways. It's Jordan-esque, it's Kobe-esque, it's all the greats that not only do it, but they do it in ways that are just unique and perfect. And Caitlin not only has done that for the last several years, she did it again last night.
So it's hard to come up with a comp because the body of work is larger than Johnny's.
By far.
That's why Johnny's out of the exact comparison. I think the peak of amazingness is similar, but again, Caitlin's got him easily lapped in terms of overall body of work. That's why Tebow makes a lot of sense. I think you could pick any one game and compare it to a lot of people. Obviously, even last night, the one I thought about Alex Morgan in the opening round of the 2019 Women's World Cup when she scored 5 goals. Just the best athlete on the best team, having the best moment, completely and totally dominating. Similar to that in that sense. Other collegiate athletes, maybe. I mean, if we're just trying to refresh my mind, recent history, maybe peak Zion. It was similar.
Maybe, but again, we go back to body of work. This has been building for so long, and Zion was just kind of a brief flash.
Right.
Tebow is the most appropriate, but the reason I don't like the comparison with Tebow is while he might be the greatest football player to ever lace him up in college football, he wasn't even close to the best quarterback.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was just a hell of a football player that mastered the jump pass on a really good football team and, did all the things that were right and made out, God, family, and country and everything else right. Never made a mistake, never gotten in any trouble. And Caitlin has been that. But she's so much better at the game. I mean, she is a great basketball player. And above and beyond that, a great guard, a great shooter.
I have a comp. Although the body of Vince Young's okay.
Yeah.
Again, doesn't feel as right. Okay, so I was actually going to go Nick Saban, but obviously significantly larger body of work, but just like complete, total, utter dominance again on a significantly, for a significantly larger amount of time. Maybe Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll at USC is kind of an apt comp.
So you're going to coaches instead of players.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're
you have to be around this long almost.
That's what I'm saying. Like Pete Carroll at USC, just complete and total domination. Nobody anywhere near it. I mean, I think that kind of checks out. Multiple Heisman winners. Who cares what anybody says? Multiple national championships. Who cares what anybody says? Like Pete Carroll for the window in time, which was a long enough window, just absolute peak of the profession. That's what Caitlin is.
Joe Burrow had the best single season of any quarterback I've ever seen. That LSU team, because he was on a team that was so deep that it was a traveling circus of greatness. But he managed to measure up in all the greatest moments. Joe Burrow had the kind of Caitlin Clark year, that man-met moment, and he never let down. I mean, they were undefeated. They did exactly what a team that good should have done. Caitlin Clark has done exactly what a player that good should have done, but she doesn't have the team around her that has kind of helped her achieve that kind of greatness. And I'm trying to think of those that came into a season and saw the beginning of the season as a coronation, and they were coronated. They lived all the way through it and were crowned at the end. That doesn't happen very often. There's a lot of pretenders to the throne, but they all seem to kind of fall by the wayside. But Caitlin has continued to produce and is now only 99 points away from one of those records that when you Google unbreakable college basketball or sports records, the Division I scoring record held by Pete Maravich just seemed almost unbreakable, just because those that can do it are leaving. They're not staying long enough to even sniff a scoring record because they're going to the pros. She's only 99 away. That's an eminently achievable record. And she plays the game a lot like Pete did. There's some flash to it. There's some salt and pepper to her game. That's what I think has kind of separated her from those before her. She understands, like, I'm so good I can add that to it, and it doesn't affect the way that I play.
How about in terms of comparisons? Lewis Hamilton. Just complete and total domination. A solid enough
in that
team
world
around her. Mercedes obviously was the team. You could go Lewis, you could go Max now. I think the body of work's large enough for Max.
Mm-hmm.
You could do actually, I think a different sport, the run that Scotty Scheffler had that he's still in the middle of. Scotty Scheffler bursted onto the scene in 2021, 2022, and just never looked back. Everybody's like, oh, he won the waste management. Oh, he won, oh my gosh, he won the Masters. Oh my gosh, he just kept going and going. It was 22, now that I think about it. Anyway, and then he's just been on a heater ever since. He's always in the mix. Or Jordan Spieth when his career first began. But those careers are still ongoing. So is hers. But this is rarefied air. It's hard to be this consistently great for this long of a time. And she's she's climbed the mountaintop, but there's no sign of it slowing down anytime soon.
Cal Ripken on our morning brigade scroll there also saw Jameis Winston, Pumbaa. I disagree with the Jameis Winston because there was Jameis had other issues. Remember, even going into that Heisman Trophy year. What about Tim Duncan? There's certainly a comparison there because Tim was a 4-year, improve every year, and by the time he was a senior, he was the best in the world, or one of the best top 20 basketball players in the world, even though he was still in college. I think Caitlin can claim that. I think she's probably already one of the top 20, 30 players in the world, even though she's still in college. And we've had sustained improvement and records falling by the wayside. And if that's the measure, she's better than Tim.
Yeah. Man, it's hard to think. I'm trying to think of somebody who was in. Tim checks the box. Somebody who's in college for that long
and hung around to not only survive the coronation, but put on the crown. It just doesn't happen as often as we think it would. They seem to fall short more often than not. And the way she did it was just the cherry on top. The first 8 of the game, they got it out of the way. They gave the fans what they wanted, and the fans had paid upwards of $500 a ticket to sit there in Iowa City and watch that. And the appropriateness of Iowa, the kind of a hotbed of women's basketball back in the day. Iowa was the last state to still play half-court basketball for women, 3-on-3 on both sides of the court.
What about within the world of women's college basketball? Again, going to a coach. What about Gino?
Well, unfortunately, Gino, his consistent greatness is always overshadowed by the flash in the pan. The Jodys, the Dons that come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Gino's been here for 25 years, man.
I know, but the program, so don't call it Gino. Just call it Just refer to the program. I mean,
It's funny that the only comparisons that you can find, RJ, are those coaches that are on the Mount Rushmore of their sports. Yeah. I mean, you brought up Saban, you brought up Carroll. I mean, the guys that have been consistently successful with very little sidebar stuff. They're just good.
I mean, just good, and make being good boring. Like being very, very, very good, boring and redundant, and old. Pat Summitt's a good example too in the world of women's college basketball. I was thinking Mac Brown at Texas.
Not yet.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to find a 1-for-1. It's a very unique level of greatness.
Caitlin Clark, buy the jersey, celebrate the greatness, and man, I want her to beat Pete. I want her to get the 99 points. I think it's doable. Well, she's got to get through the tournament. She's going to have to score some buckets. But 99, she's averaging. She gets 30 a night, so you'd expect.
Yeah,
you'd expect.
This is inevitable, dude. I mean.
On the other side, you can bring in coaches. You can add a Zimmer. You can add any high-level guy, but they can only run with the horses in their barn. New coaches here, but the players are the same. Dave Campo talked about the players, and the heat is going to be on them. Those are the guys that are going to have to suffer like Micah in an airport. Can they turn it up and do what needs to be done? Dave Campo spoke to it, and we're going to hear from him. He was on the Blitz yesterday, and he's going to be on the huddle coming up. You're on the Morning Huddle. He is RJ. I am Rob. Hang around because we got grievances coming your way as well. Hang around. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic is set. Monday, March 25th at Golf Club of Texas. With plenty of prizes, including a shot at $50,000 and a trip to the big game. Go to sasportstar.com and get signed up. A 4-person scramble, $120 per player to join, or a group of 4 can sign up together for $400. It's the San Antonio Spring Golf Classic, benefiting the Will Smith Foundation. Monday, March 25th, presented by Flight by Yingling and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
Somebody's knocking the door. I walk over, and there's Toby Keith. I'm like, hey, Toby Keith. He's like, hey, is Rick James in here? I'm like, yeah. He does like to smoke the weed.
Yes, he does.
Yes. We are having some celebrities, Rick James and Dan Haggerty and
Grizzly Adams?
Grizzly Adams.
Wow. Hello, Grizzly Adams.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Every Saturday morning.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Is the IRS making you feel anxious? Do you have multiple years of unfiled taxes or owe more than $8,000? The tax attorneys at Allies Tax Relief specialize in problems like yours, and they're ready to negotiate your fresh start. Don't go another year fearing the IRS. Allies Tax Relief will stop the IRS from garnishing your wages or levying your bank account. You only pay if you qualify for their services, so why wait? Call 800-280-4184 today. That's 800-280-4184.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Tax Talk with Straight Talk.
You give and you give. This tax season, you get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included when you buy an extended silver unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk for plans starting as low as $25 a line per month for 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com. Device offer ends 4/14/24. Online only. Family plan discount with 4 lines, all on the Silver Unlimited plan. Taxes and fees apply.
At Progressive, we love sports and saving you money, so we bundled them together.
2 seconds left on the clock, third field goal range, and it looks like he's going to go with a 5-iron. No, wait. The quarterback is skating back on the ice. He's talking with his caddy. They're pulling the goalie. He skates off the fairway as the kicker lines up his putt. It's a breakaway! They bundled their home and auto insurance with Progressive. Touchdown savings, birdie goal!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Good morning, everybody. Joe Reinagle here. The Blitz starts at 2 o'clock, and we're going to start at the Root Pub. Get the weekend kicked off on the right foot. Plus, we're going to talk some Spurs basketball. Well, sort of. Wemby and Jeremy Sochan in the Rising Stars Challenge. And, well, more Mike Zimmer talk. John Machota will join us from The Athletic at 5:15. Hey, RJ, have you really sent faxes lately?
That happens. You know, when you're doing analog things, I know the legal profession uses a fair amount of faxes. And if you're, how do you, if the fax machines are going away, how are the universities going to know when you get your letter of intent? Aren't those still used? I think they're still faxed.
When was the last time you sent a fax that you can recall?
I would say in the last 6 months for something.
What?
Well, sometimes you need a signature, and they don't have access to PDF. I think, but I don't have a fax machine. I can recall I had to go to one of those shipper stores to use their fax. But you got apps and scanners and things like that.
What's a piece of technology you miss that's gone from society?
That worked, that just kind of disappeared? Nothing. Yeah. There's nothing that I miss that hasn't been replaced by something better.
Once upon a time, I was in a conversation with some people, and we were talking about VCRs, and somebody said the word rewinder, and I was like, "That's not a real thing."
Oh yeah, it looked like a little race car.
They were like, it was a rewinder. You would put the tape in there, and its sole purpose was to rewind.
Yeah, we had one.
I offered that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, the reason why you had to have little rewinders, you got charged.
No,
if you returned a tape that hadn't been rewound. So sometimes you're rewinding one movie and you could rewind the other one and get out of the house and go get another one before the other guys got there and got the good ones because they only had 100 copies.
But were there at one point in time VCRs that didn't also rewind?
No, it was about expediency. I mean,
but
that's why you had it.
A minute to rewind. So you're saying at one point in time,
the automatic rewinder was for rich people.
I'm just saying this is the process that you're telling me that somebody partook, or they watched a movie, ejected it from the VCR, placed it in an entirely different machine.
No, not so much like that.
Rewound it, and then removed it from the second machine.
Well, there was the belief that every time you used one of those analog VCRs, it's just like a timing chain and rubber bands and all that. The more you rewound, the more often it would break, and you'd rather use the $5 rewinder instead of breaking. That's why it's gone. You're right. That's the best we had. You go, do you miss that? No, I don't miss it at all.
I totally understand.
But it was better than us looking at a coloring book.
So that Blockbuster could say like, oh, like it needs to be rewound.
And they
did
just
pop it in the rewinder because we don't have a need to watch the movie. But that anybody owned one is stupid and impossible. I'm depressed for humanity.
Well, that's why it's gone, young brother. That's why this is better. We got better, but that's the best we had at the time.
By the way, Will S. in the Brigade Bar says my daughter sent her letter of intent by taking a picture and texting.
So, oh, good. I'm glad that's new.
So, do you think Dave Campo sent a text to Mike Zimmer?
My question here is,
people who congratulated him.
The reason I love this thread of, the reason the Cowboys aren't winning is there's no real commitment to greatness, that you're not accountable for any of your mistakes. You're Dallas Cowboys. Just overcome it by your greatness. And if you make a mistake or two, well, we'll just overcome it by our greatness. That's just the cost of our doing business. Well, you can bring in coaches, but if that's just the way you do things around here, no matter who is in the building, we're still going to do it the same way. Do you see anybody arriving in the near future that can change what has been a problem for 25 years?
I mean, it's the crazy thing is, like, we say it's been a problem, and I'm not saying they don't have a problem, but we say like, oh, that they are just like cursed in futility. If you look up, I mean, over the last 3 years, only the Chiefs have more wins than them in the regular season. Over the last 15 years, they're among the top 5 teams in wins and regular season wins. I know that's not in the playoffs. They just have the most, honestly, amazing ability to be good enough to be in these moments, but not good enough to have them consistently end in heartbreak. It's an incredible needle of heartbreak and incompetence that they have managed to thread for a decade and a half now. It's impossible, really, but they have found a way.
But couldn't we trace it back to what we're talking about? The reason they find a way to collapse at any given moment and ride success on others is that very inability to stay focused and remain accountable and do the right things. Whether the coach is inflicting pain when you do something wrong, benching, fining, whatever that might be, or players holding other players accountable and, whatever it might be. But the next time you jump offside, there's going to be a blanket party, something, whatever it might be. There's just this lack of accountability, holding others accountable for mistakes, that no matter the coach, no matter the player, that's just the Cowboys. You put the star on, you make mistakes, and you win a couple of regular season games.
I think that sometimes in life, there are self-fulfilling prophecies. And I'm curious if you agree with this. I've had this take in the oven. All right, so put your mitts on and open it up. Take it out. You see you put them on, please. Put them on.
Am I wearing the soccer mitts with the fingers, or am I wearing the glove like I'm doing Hamburger Helper? Which one?
It's not even a mitt. It's just the ones that you pinch.
I got you. Okay.
Little crab things. Okay, so pull it out.
Those are the ones that burn your wrists because they're not covered. But anyway,
it's been a chaotic month for the Cowboys, right, since their season ended. This is a Robism. I put it to you. It was not like this before they lost to the Packers. It was not. They were pretty, I'm not saying on the field, but they were pretty well organized. They were pretty well structured. They were pretty quiet. They weren't saying or doing outlandish things. But it's like the moment they lost and everybody was like, oh, you're just a bunch of loud, obnoxious frauds, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They became that. You know what I mean? Like almost any time that anybody important relative to the organization has spoken since the season ended, it's gone poorly. Mike McCarthy speaks, buy into us. Mike McCarthy speaks, we're a championship organization. We just don't have the championship to prove it. Jerry Jones speaks, we're all in, but we're not actually all in. Micah Parsons speaks, pick the one you want to talk about.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb speaks, actually my mom doesn't hate Dak. I don't hate Dak. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, Tony Pollard speaks, I didn't know Dan Quinn was the Washington Commanders coach. What? You know what I mean? Like, anytime anybody has spoken, it has only dug this hole deeper. They have become the meme. And so, like, I mean, they are just living up to the circus that everyone thinks they are at this point in time, that they actually weren't before they lost the playoff game.
And this isn't anything, you're not breaking news. We all see it. And that's why I think the surprise one that McCarthy stayed, when there was a guy floating around or two and coaches floating around that are manifestly and famously known for being absolutely different than that. When we talk about guys like Vrabel and Belichick, well, there's not going to be a loose ship. You're going to be held accountable. Your players, your teammates are going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to hold you. I mean, we're talking about fundamental photo negative difference where that was available. It was there. You could have done it, and you chose not to, but you're going to act like you're doing
it. It's amazing to me that one day after Mike Zimmer effectively said that he doesn't like social media or podcasts, that Micah Parsons went on a tirade on Twitter, and that the morning after the tirade, the headline floating around right now is that Micah crossed up Stephen A so badly that Stephen A had to go to the hospital. You think Mike Zimmer's I'm just telling you that's what Molly Karam apparently said right now. So do you think that Mike Zimmer is laughing about Micah having crossed up Stephen A so badly he's in the hospital allegedly? Or do you think he's just like, dude, enough. Please. Like, exactly.
Well, he understands the value of fame. He has a podcast himself. This is Dave Campo talking about player accountability.
One of the things I've always had a little problem with in Dallas, and this goes back, we were very fortunate that we had a lot of leadership in the locker room that would not let that happen when we had the Michael Irvins and the Woodsons and Aikman and those guys, Emmitt Smith, I've always felt that there was a little bit of lack of accountability because of so much adoration. You look at the Cowboys, they're America's team, and they've only won 2 games in the playoffs. They have not won 2 games in the playoffs since the 1995 Super Bowl. It's almost like a Cowboy player can go, do, see, get whatever he wants. And sometimes the press clippings are read, and going into that game playing a young quarterback, I don't think they came ready to play. And unfortunately, in this league, you better be ready to play every single game.
Dave Campo yesterday on the Blitz talking about accountability. He's so right. He is so right.
He's right, but I would only push back and say, Coach, if podcasts were around, all those dudes would have had one.
True. No, he's right.
You also are fortunate that the benefit of time and the benefit of the era, because they all had radio shows, they all had news hits and things like that. Like this is the times have just changed, and as opportunities have become more prevalent. I mean, as we said, Micah Parsons is set to play in the All-Star Celebrity Game tonight. I mean,
I just wish we the Cowboys had a Fred Warner, a guy that said, "Yeah, we got problems in here. I'm gonna fix it. It's me. It's on me. I'm a leader here. I'm gonna go get it fixed." I wish we had a Travis Frederick. I wish we had a Michael Irvin. I wish there was a Troy Aikman in that locker room where you looked at that guy and you go, you know what? I don't think this guy's sick of the crap too. The Troy Aikman wouldn't have put up with that. We'd have heard about it. He'd have called you out by name. And Dak Prescott, I love him. You're a motivator, and people look to you. They want to follow you. But I don't think you're a guy that's going to call somebody out for making a mistake. I think you'll congratulate him for coming back and trying harder after the mistake.
Here we go.
But I don't think you're going to jump in their grill and say you're either going to do it right or you're not going to do it at all.
I mean, that's kind of Dan Quinn, right? Like that's what Coach Campo said about Dan. Is he was too buddy. I mean, it's hard to be scolded by your buddy. It's hard.
Would you rather have a player doing it or a coach doing it?
Why not both? I mean, like why does it have like this? The standard should be the standard. You know what I mean? Like
I agree, but I don't think the Cowboys are going to get both. But when we talk about the old guard Cowboys, and I look at D-Law is the guy, been around for a while. You measure him in game output, not in stats. He does all the things that help other guys get good. Well, I'd like to see a guy like D-Law or maybe Zach Martin, one of the quieter ones, the solid deep river kind of guys, come out and call somebody out and just be the Michael Irvin of back in the day. Like, I'm not going to put up with it. And if I need to name names, I will. I'll tell you who the problems are. We don't have that.
That ain't ever going to happen.
No, not anymore.
That's part of the problem. I mean, like,
maybe it's a grievance we should air. Maybe we should let the air out. Bad air out, good air in, because we have made it. It is the end of the week. And if you're going to go into a healthy weekend of fun and frolic, you can't have any bad air with you. We're airing our grievances for the week that was and looking forward to a week that will be. We're airing it. Let it go. Plan it. We're talking about it next. You're on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The boys are back from Vegas.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
You heard the big game on Sunday, and the boys made it back thanks to AA Best Bail Bonds and presented by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds and Synergenics. Next year, it's off to the Big Easy on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-5407. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-5407. That's 800-575-5407. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, it's Rob Thompson here for SA Card House. Over there on San Pedro, you know where it is, 13400 San Pedro right there in Bitters. One of my favorite places to go for a lot of reasons. It's not just about the restaurant and the bar, which is a reason to be. It's not just about the atmosphere and the great games and all the prizes that go along with being a San Antonio Card House member. It's a vibe. It's a thing that you get. Whether you're a brand new player, they have brand new classes for you to get you interested in playing, to teach you how to play the game. They got great membership rates. They've got food to serve and great atmosphere while you're playing, or if you just bring your friends and family to play. But it's an atmosphere of success and fun, and that's why I go to SA Card House, and that's why you need to give them a try. Go check out their website, sacardhouse.com, but you're not going to know until you go. It's a private social club waiting for you to come and play. It's at Bitters in San Pedro. It is my SA Card House. Head there today. Thank me later.
Hurt in a wreck? Get George. Hit by an 18-wheeler or commercial truck? Get George. Injured at work? Get George. When you're dealing with personal injury, you need to get George because George gets justice. I'm George Salinas, and my San Antonio-based firm has been recognized across the state of Texas and the United States. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers today at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com.
The President's Day weekend sale is here at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Don't miss incredible deals like 20% off used clubs, 30% off select apparel, and get custom fit on the new TaylorMade QI10 drivers. Book your free custom fitting online today. Swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf for the President's Day weekend sale, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
At the UPS Store, we know this upcoming holiday is when things can get busy for small business owners.
Exactly. My to-do list and I don't take days off.
That's why you can count on us to be open and ready to help with every small business need, whether it's packing and shipping or if it's just to check your mailbox.
That's almost everything on my to-do list. My list and I can take the day off.
Your local, the everything to help you be unstoppable store. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renters and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Patients everywhere are experiencing joint pain relief thanks to QC Kinetics regenerative treatments. So how does this non-surgical approach work? QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Aaron Wolkoff explains.
Is like when you get a paper cut and the cells that come onto that scene first stop the bleeding, and then it recruits more cells to form new skin and new soft tissue. And then you look down a week later, 2 weeks later, and it's like nothing happened and that paper cut never existed.
In this same way, QC Kinetics uses your natural biologics to help repair and restore aching knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
We take those same similar cells in different areas that are arthritic, are painful, and we cause this kind of internal self-healing that can resolve patients' pain.
Relief without surgery. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
Call QC Kinetics 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. 210-571-0318.
This is the Morning Huddle with Rob Thompson and RJ Ochoa.
Welcome, newcomers. The tradition begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Here are the grievances with Rob and RJ.
Time to get it off your chest. This is Morning Huddle here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, don't let your Friday end without seeing the Blitz live. They're going to be out at the Rue Pub today, getting ready for an all-star festivities type of evening. We welcome Wemby at the Rue Pub as the ping pong ball or the envelope was opened. That's where the celebration was, an appropriate place to celebrate Victor's first all-star outing tonight. He and Jeremy involved in a couple of things. Victor will be doing the Rising Stars and the Skills Challenge, and Jeremy will be playing in the Rising Stars Challenge for Team Jalen. And Victor, the number 1 overall pick of the Rising Stars, will be playing for Team Powell. Do you follow Powell on social medias?
No, but I see his work a lot.
These guys know how to live. Gasol, that guy knows how to live. He lives the Spaniard way of life, and that's a fine way to live. I have grievances, and that includes I don't get to live that kind of life, although I do take a siesta every day.
I have 2.
All right, let's hear it.
How many do you have?
I have a couple.
Okay, you go first.
President's Day coming up on Monday.
Okay.
There's people get this weekend off, and I want them to get Monday off. I want everybody should get more paid holidays. I want paid holidays, but this one is dumb. Why are we celebrating President's Day today? Because it's not an official birthday on President's Day. Is it like Abe Lincoln's birthday? Is it an actual day? And we expanded it to celebrate all presidents. Well, why can't we just have a floating president's holiday the day after the Super Bowl? It doesn't matter whether it's the 19th or the 13th. I'm not saying take the holiday away. Just move it to a weekend where we can all actually use it. That's all I'm asking. I mean, it's not that big of an ask. Either that or something that infuriates the purist, the old soul body that is RJ, move the Super Bowl to Saturday. One or the other. So if we can't do it on Saturday, let's have the holiday that's just a week later. Just move it back 1 week. That's all I'm asking. It's a doable thing.
This does not pass.
No.
This is dumb. You're mad that people have a day off.
Oh, I want them to have the day off. I'm not trying to take it away. I'm just trying to move the day off. No, Alexandra, I want you to have the day off. But I wanted it to be last Monday when you could have used it, when you were truly exhausted from the 4.5-hour slog fest that we had to sit through, the 7th longest game in NFL history. The least they can do is let most of us sleep late on the following Monday. That's all I'm asking. Congressman, hear my problem. Hear my cry. I'm not talking about changing the clock because of the sun. I wouldn't ask you to do that twice a year and fix that. All I'm saying is move a holiday that really doesn't even have an attachment from 1 week to the other. It's still even in the same month.
I don't think you're considering your fellow man as much as you think you are, because there are certain days that kind of serve as half work, not literally, but pseudo holiday. Yeah. The Monday after the Super Bowl, it's understood. Nobody generally has like massive things going on. So you're at work, but it's kind of a light day, LITE. It's Monday light, relative to normal Monday. And so if you make that Monday an official holiday, you take away kind of a half work day. And you know what I mean? You're losing bang for your buck. Would you rather
have half work day or no work day?
No, but in this case, you get 1.5 days off. You get an actual Monday off and the half Monday. You're taking away that half day, is what I'm saying.
I think that everybody would be happier last Monday. If
I think that you are allowing your mind to be worked by the fact that you work in a world of sports discussion. So it feels...
Honest to goodness, I do believe this, just like nobody knows the rules of overtime in a Super Bowl. I think if we move President's Day back a week, no one would notice. If we just said, what, President's Day from now on is February the 13th or the Monday after the Super Bowl, we all go. It wasn't.
Does not pass.
It wasn't. It should be.
Does not pass. Does not pass.
I think you're just upset because you're wearing an old shirt.
My first grievance, first of two, is rain, and not rain in general, but enough rain to be a bother, but not enough to fully, make it feel like, oh, it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
when you're just moist. When you're moist.
Misty rain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can't go, it's not light enough to where you can go stand outside and not really get wet. So it's heavy enough to where you're actually wet, but it's not light enough to make your windows feel intense with water. This is the worst type of precipitation that human beings can experience.
I love getting wet for no apparent reason. I like walking my dog and walking inside and being wet and not knowing when it rained. Or your dog is suddenly all wet and smells of a wet dog when it wasn't in the rain. This is horrible weather. And it's happening to me as we speak. It's going on
you agree?
Right now. Oh, I absolutely agree. This is the worst kind of weather because when it's just a little bit warm, it makes it that much hotter and that much more miserable. And when it's a little bit cold, it makes it that much more colder and that much more miserable. That's why people in Seattle, you don't want to hang around those people because they deal with this weather every day.
I think the best way to measure it is if it's wet enough to where if you walk inside with your shoes, it's going to create a mess. That's a bother.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and if it's like pouring, I'm not going out there. You know what I mean? Like, so my shoes aren't going to get wet. But if I'm going out, if I have to do something really quickly, I don't want to have to then take my shoes off. You know what I mean? It's a chore. It's a hassle. I do not like this.
We don't like it, and we ask for it to change. You got a grievance? Sound off like you got a pair. 656-3776. 656-ESPN. That's what Mike did. Mike, let that bad air out, man. Let's charge into the weekend right.
Moving President's Day to the day after the Super Bowl is genius.
Thank you.
Genius. You're correct, Rob.
You guys
RJ, you're incorrect. You're incorrect, RJ. And can you guys play some Taylor Swift?
Rob, what is your favorite Taylor song?
Shake It Off.
Mine is Enchanted. So
that's the only one that came to mind. Half the songs that I like,
I'm a Swiftie.
I'm not even sure are Taylor Swift. Maybe they are, but that one I know for sure.
Okay, that is a Taylor song. Again,
do you have any grievances regarding veterinary care at all? Has everything gone well with the dog and the?
Actually, I don't want to put my vet on blast, so I guess, but I'm gonna. That's also a grievance of mine. Like, hey, no offense, but here's the thing that I'm about to say that's like offense to you. But so we got our puppy spayed yesterday, and I'm grateful for veterinarians. This is hard work. They're caring for animals and creatures. They've taken an oath, and that's a really admirable thing.
Mm-hmm.
What is the conventional thing that is associated with an animal who's been neutered or spayed?
The cone of sadness.
Thank you very much. So we're waiting at the vet. They're going to go get her, whatever. And they bring her out, and there's no cone. And
they didn't even throw it in for free? I mean,
well, there wasn't even an option. And so I said, because again, Bear got a cone. He was neutered. And also I have been alive for a long time, so I know that this is a normal thing. I said, is there anything we should do to like inhibit her from licking herself? And she was like, oh, well, just don't let her. And I was like, she's a dog.
Are you new to this?
Like, what this like entails. Now, fortunately for us, I am a control freak, and we had already bought one of the inflatable pillows, so we had that. But what if we hadn't? You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of, and then, I said, how long should we, if we put something on her, because we were gonna, I said, how long should we keep it on? About a week or two. Do you realize that
either 7 or 14 days, one or the other?
Yeah, like one of those measurements of time is literally twice the other measurement of time. So, this isn't like 3 or 4 days. You know what I mean? This is like, there's kind of a significant difference between the 2 points in, time measurement that you've offered me here. So they did a wonderful job, at least by my assertion.
So far, so good.
But the handling of this could have been a little bit neater and more tight.
I like, well, just don't let him lick it. So you're telling me to stand over my dog 24 hours a day to ensure that she won't do that. Okay. I'll buy that. And you want me to do it for 14 days. So every day, 24 hours a day.
Or 7.
Or 7. You'll know.
I'm a fan of data-driven decisions, right? Because how can you refute them? And so she said, however much she eats, just give her half today. What? Like what is the logic behind?
I like that one.
What is the logic behind that? Why half? Like what is the science behind this? I would just like to understand that. That's all.
Well, I've been trying to fatten my dog up, so she's eating about 8 pounds a day. Well, I'd just give her 4. I mean, she just had surgery.
I have a second one, and I think
I got a question for you. Did they ask you to keep your dog off of food and water after midnight, like they tell people?
They did.
Oh,
and
okay.
We did. Yeah. So, that worked out.
I always felt like, I'm like Kramer from Seinfeld. I got to eat. I need my strength. I'm going through surgery. What are you talking about? Don't eat.
I have a grievance, and I'm so confident in it that I think this might be the best grievance we've ever had.
Oh, no.
But so do you want it to?
So
do you
far,
want to
the
go
thumb
first?
is sideways. No, I got to hear this. I am ready. Thumb is sideways. I will give you the meter.
I find there to be no purpose in the pay at the first window in a drive-through. Why do we need this?
It's a place I can see stacked boxes.
What is
the
reason for this?
And it's just a bunch of stacked boxes.
And specifically, what is the reason? So, like, theoretically, this exists for some reason, right? Like, we've determined that our operation works better when you pay at the first window.
Oh, no,
hang on. This is my grievance. This is my grievance. This is mine. So theoretically, we have determined that the best course of action is if you pay at the first window. Okay, I'm on board. I understand the protocol. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I will do this. I show up and there's a little sticky thing with the hanging thing. Please pay at next window. Right. What the hell happened that we're willing to violate our sacred laws to where now all of a sudden we have the abilities, we have the capabilities, we have the technology to handle all of the business at the final window.
Because you don't have to count money anymore. Used to, there's only one guy in the whole building that can count backward from 100. I mean,
how is this? What is the purpose
thank God
of this?
Jenkins is here, or we wouldn't be able to sell anything. So you're giving the money. Everybody else go make the burgers and the tacos. You guys can't count money.
I mean, what is the purpose in the window, especially if you're gonna throw it to the wind yourself? Like, if you don't even value it, why should I respect the window if you don't?
Well, I always, when they say, pull around to window number 1, I'm wondering, are you like special today? Did you get special duty to be the one person that gets to take the money?
I mean, what is the purpose? I want to know. I want to understand what the purpose is.
So, and it's funny how it varies. Like some days, no, we're all doing it from one window. We're not. And then the other manager comes in and they like, nope, who's the money guy?
Who broke this? Who didn't have the first window open?
I have also found, I got a little hack for you. Okay. When I go to the double lane drive-through, and you go to the double lane drive-through, and I found it primarily at McDonald's. So there's 2 cars pulling up to the double lane drive-through. There's the inside and the outside. Always go outside. If you want to go first, and I have 2 McDonald's on my route, and you're both pulling up. There's 2 cars. Maybe the car in front of you is pulling up, and there's 2, and whether you're behind them or not, you'll be the next guy in case somebody pulls in. So you don't really want to not pull in behind them because somebody might pull in and be the next. But if you both pull up at the same time, I have found over my years, the outside guy gets first.
I don't think that there's any evidence to support this.
I think there is, and I'll tell you why. I've asked employees about this. They are monitored by how long you sit in the drive.
Why didn't you lead with this?
So
I mean, that would have been valuable.
Because I wanted you to look stupid. No, they are monitored. You know, when you pull up and you're the only guy at the drive-through, and they go, "Can you go pull over in space 1?" That pisses me off beyond belief. Well, wait a minute, I'm the only one here, and you want me to move out of the way? You know why? Because they get counted against for how long people sit in the drive-through. So that as a hack, they make you pull away.
I'm sorry to make your point better by making it mine. But we've established once again that the preliminary window,
worthy one. That's
no. I'm not. I agree. Thank you, but I'm not talking about the grievance anymore.
Oh.
But this is a grievance within the grievance. This is a grievanceception. So we've established that the window is a necessary part of society, right? The first window. That's
at one
what
point
they did.
We felt it was needed. Now it's not so much.
Okay, so then how can the second lane exist? Like the second lane never touches the first window. Right. Like the second lane, that the second lane can even process without
reach out and have arms.
That's what I'm saying. Like if it's so valuable to the process, how can the second lane even exist?
Well said. Our fast food issues. But that's the hack. Go on the outside lane and just speed past the first window. If they're not taking money, and if they ask you for money, you say I paid in that last one. That guy in back of that other window took my money.
So we're both taking Team Powell to win tonight. Is that correct?
I am taking Team Powell to win the roundabout tournament that they're going to be playing tonight, and I'm taking as far as the skills challenge.
I'm not going to not take Wemby, just to be clear.
So Wemby is on. I'm trying to find his team.
So Paolo and Anthony Edwards' team.
And yeah, that's going to win.
Team top picks. So
yeah, sure. Those are the ones. I can't wait to buy their shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm Team Top Picks Nation, dude. You know what I mean? Like, the 3-point contest. I've picked Trae Young, and you thought so poorly of him that you forgot he was even involved.
I was looking at my sheet, and the sad thing is, as I went down, of all the guys to put on the second page of the 3-point shootout,
yeah, that's a good point.
They put Trae on the second page and Lowry Markkanen on the first page. Or Karl Anthony Towns was on the first page, but Trae, the deep shooter, was on the second page.
I think we should both get 2 picks for a 3-point contest. There's a lot of people.
Okay, go ahead.
Trae and Jalen Brunson. Those are my horses.
Oh man, I'm going Dame to repeat, and I'm also going for Dame or for Matt McClung to repeat in the dunk contest. Man's playing
who's your
for
second
the
3-pointer?
Larry Markkanen. I think he's actually going to win it, but I'm going to pull Dame.
I'll take Jalen in the dunk contest. Why not? I mean, that's what I'd like to see. So, and then Steph or Sabrina.
Sabrina.
Me too.
Just because it's a weekend that would be appropriate as we celebrate the greatness that is Caitlin Clark, and we celebrate the greatness of our listeners. As you sat with us this long 4 hours and you did not subscribe, shame on you. There's still time. Do it right now. Be one of the cool kids. Make sure you are subscribed to all things that we do, and you will be aware that the Blitz is just a couple of hours away, and they are prepping and making sure they're going to have a show for you. If you want to see them live in their natural environment, you can go and see them at the Rue Pub. Throw food at them and make fun of them. Only Jason throws his poop. Joe's pretty well trained. Thanks for hanging with us today. The Blitz is going to be a big weekend. Hey, be back on Monday when we look back on Wemby's outing there in Indianapolis. So much to do in so little time. RJ, stay safe, my brother. Mind them dogs. Take care of those babies. And we will see you again on Monday. Y'all be cool.